All right, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Nerdcamp Sports. We are back post I'm sorry, post Super Bowl. There we go. There we go. You know, we were on yesterday for about an hour and a half, but we're back here. I'm your host and moderator for the evening, Mike. Got Raja Anthony Ali here in R&B. Coach Will should be in soon. Maybe Brandon. How y'all gentlemen doing tonight? On how's your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna say a 7. It's better than yesterday. Um,
Okay.
so I'm thankful for another day. And as far as how I'm doing, as far as all around, I'm excited. I'm excited for this damn show because we're gonna get to how this whole thing happened with the Super Bowl. And shout out to Sam Darnold. That's my quarterback, aka Sam the Man, aka Ghostbusters. He went out there and proved himself to be an anomaly, but he got it done. So shout out to Sam Darnold, man, and the rest of the Seahawks.
How about you, R&B?
I'll probably say I'm somewhere lingering around about a 6 today. Not too bad, better than yesterday. But, just life is life. We gotta keep on taking it as it come, right?
Absolutely.
Pause, pause, pause. I did not like the way that sounded after I said
I was gonna say nothing.
I was just gonna let it go. I was just gonna let it go.
it. We
Oh,
can't
that's
say
hilarious.
nothing today, can we? We can't
Nah, we
say
can't say anything. Anything.
shit. Mm-mm.
I would say I'm about a 7 myself. Had a few things going on, but nothing I can't handle. I had a really good day at work. That's always good. Smooth and nice. Just it was a really good day. Got out at a decent time, so I was able to get into podcast mode.
Good, good.
So we're off the heels of um well, I'm just gonna say, unless you're the ultimate Patriot hater, a very bad and entertainless Super Bowl, at least from my point of view.
Mhm.
Um, last night, the Seahawks won. What was the final? Was it 29-13?
29-13.
29-13.
29-13. And Raj, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts and takeaways from this game?
Well, the number one takeaway is that the number one takeaway is
He hit us with the LOD start. Well,
nah. All jokes aside, I mean, I think it was a great game as far as if you were cheering for the other teams, you weren't cheering for the Patriots. If you was cheering or if you were on a Patriots hate watch. It was a great game to watch. So I think the O line in New England need to get fixed. Like they just ran. I mean, they just completely destroyed Drake May out there. He looked like he never played football. He was looking like C.J. Stroud in the playoffs. So that showed to me that this is going to be an absolute lopsided game when it first started. And then Sam Darnold went out there and he lit it up. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. Kenneth Walker did an amazing job. He was able to win MVP. So that goes to show you that that team was locked in. But there was a lot of stars that didn't get to shine, like you know, uh, JSN. I didn't really get to see him. Um, Stephon Diggs. I don't even think he was on the field. And there's a few other players I was kind of shocked to see didn't really show up and play because they weren't really involved in the offensive game. But as far as the defense goes, they played great. The Seattle Seahawks played great defense, and shout out to um, shout out to the Patriots quarterback. I just lost his name. Is it
Drake May.
Gonzalez?
You said quarterback or cornerback?
Cornerback.
Oh, I thought you said quarterback.
Christian
Is it?
Gonzalez.
It's Gonzalez, right? Shout out to him. He played
Yeah.
incredible on the defensive end. I wish that the rest of the team was locked in as much as him because he showed that he's one of the best in the game right now. So that was pretty much my take on it and my thoughts.
What about you, R&B?
I reacted that way because and I know we always got to go at it, but I'm just trying to figure out what the hell Raj was watching last night because there was nothing entertaining about that game. So when he said entertaining, he lost me right there. That shit was hot garbage. Hot dog water is what it felt like. And the smell that was the stench in the fucking air watching that damn game. Who stayed awoke? Y'all watched all four quarters? I seen all four quarters, but can I say I watched all four? I can't because I fell fucking asleep. And don't even get me started on that atrocity of a halftime performance, which we'll get to that when we do the list. But get your shit together, Jay Z. You on the hot seat for that one. Um, the game, man. The only good thing about last night was Seattle's defense. New England's defense, in my opinion, did come to play. They just got let down. But overall, then you said Sam Darnold was balling. Where? Where was Sam Darnold balling at? He was mediocre at best. What was he? What was he? 18 for 30 something.
He
I'm
didn't
That
turn it
close.
ain't
over.
balling.
He didn't turn it over. That's
The,
balling
the
to
the
me.
team the team didn't turn it over. This the first team never win the Super Bowl, go through the whole postseason with zero turnovers. So good job, Sam Darnold. Yeah, but good job the whole team. None of the team period didn't have turnovers. So I may be
He
able to give you that one, but
200 yards, one touchdown,
Yeah, I
50%
mean,
completion from Darnold.
yeah.
fifty
But
percent completion percentage.
okay,
50% completion percentage.
yeah, that's
I
good.
know
He got the
2-year-olds
job
who
done.
not getting pissed on the seat percentage is higher than that. Come on, man. 50%. Dude, come on, Raj. That
And
game was absolute uh, bomb fire. It was dirt, man. It was dirt. It was just hard to watch. It was hard to watch. The they New England had an offensive lineman. I think his last name is Campbell.
hmm
It's either Campbell or Jones. I think he's either the left tackle or the left guard. Anyway, one of those two gave up 14 of 19 pressures. One player gave up 14 pressures
And that's
on the boat,
a record high in the Super Bowl, I
a
read too.
record high in the Super Bowl. So it's it just was what it was, man. I'm glad that it's over. Let's get to, let's keep it moving and let's get to next season because that shit was bad. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's nothing to be sorry about. Like, well, the only thing sorry was what the game was. I would say after the first quarter, I think it was 3-0 Seattle.
Yeah.
I turned to my wife and I said, "Yeah, this game's about to be very boring." And and it was, got to 12-0. And, like you said, to your point, the defense came to play. The defense kept them in the game as long as they could, but eventually you gonna crack, you know?
Yeah.
And they were able to they weren't able to hold it up. I will say that New England, that line just was hot garbage, and they just were able to put everyone on house arrest. They couldn't run, they couldn't throw. Like before, me and Raj were backstage, and when they scored that touchdown, right, that made the
Mhm.
score like like got them to like 13. I'm like, okay, we might have a game here, right? And then they got the ball back and they're driving, and then like he went this way and he threw the ball straight, and the receiver went that way. I'm like, and then you see him missing open throws. I mean, for Drake May, it was a long night, and I don't even think it was fully his fault, just because he had no protection. I will say that this is one of the rare times where a defense actually wins a championship. Like we know defenses win championships, but I always say there are games the quarterback has to go and get it. They did not let Sam Darnold have a factory reset like the Vikings did.
Right.
Sam Darnold went out there and did what he had to do to win the game. And now he is a Super Bowl champion before Lamar Jackson, before Josh Allen. And, well, I put those two in the status last night to get the Ravens fans all upset. They like the Steelers this. I'm like, we ain't talking about that. That ain't relevant. Y'all the ones who want to be there so damn bad and should have
Y'all
probably
ain't got
already won.
superstar quarterback.
Right. And honestly, they should have won one already. But that was my takeaway from the game. Kenneth Walker was a bright spot for them. JSN was quite quiet and he was in concussion protocol for a little while during that game. And hopefully, like R&B said, we got to get to next season. That was bad. And I mean, if I had to say, um, if I had to take one, and I'm looking at my five worst games, to be honest with you, I'm probably gonna take out Tampa Bay and Kansas City that I had as the third worst game and insert that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because
Uh,
to that point, like it was bad. Like Stevie Wonder could see how bad that was.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when you watch your team, well, when you watch a team in your division get smacked up, is that a good game or a bad game?
Say that again.
When you're watching, like, let's say your team isn't playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a team in your division, like let's say, I don't know, pick a team, any other team that,
Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota Vikings get smacked up in like a real serious game, like a playoff game or some type of like division game. Is that a good
Mm-hmm.
game to watch or not?
I think. See, it's like a double
I know what
sided
he's trying
answer.
to do.
It's like a
I know what
double.
he's trying to do.
No, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm asking a question.
To me, okay, I'm gonna as a fan, I'll watch anyone beat the Ravens' ass and enjoy it, right?
Right.
But for the sake of this show, as just as a sports person and a sports fan, like and I can take my emotions out as a fan. No, it's a bad game. I would much rather see a competitive game. I mean, I put a Baltimore Super Bowl win in my top five games because I
Right.
like competition. I prefer a nice competitive middle tier game. I don't mind 34-31, but like I don't enjoy blowouts, even if no matter who it is, I just don't enjoy them. They're just
Yeah.
terrible.
So,
Or
so,
I get that. However, you
so,
guys got to
oh,
understand when it
I
comes
ain't
down
answer.
to,
I ain't answer. I ain't
okay,
answer.
all right, go for it.
Let me answer real quick. This is what I'll say, Raj.
Uh huh.
It may be a good thing, but that does not mean that it's a good game.
Okay.
So if I'm watching the Vikings and let's say they get beat up the same way New England got beat up last night, then yeah, I'll sit back and like, yeah, it may be a good thing, but don't necessarily make it a good game because sport is competition.
Right.
You hear me say that all the time. Like I'm one of them type of what's the hockey player that went on the whole rant on first take a year or so ago when he went at LeBron and shit?
PK
The
Subban.
black guy,
PK
Subban.
Subban. Yeah.
I'm like PK Subban. I'm one of those type of guys. I'm all about the
Yeah.
competition. I'm all about the competition in sport. So I rather see a competitiveness before I see boringness. I'm sorry, unless it's my home team. That's the
Right.
only way a blowout is gonna be satisfactory as if it's your fucking team, like your team. Like
Yeah.
if I was watching the Lions do that last night, then we'd have been jumping for joy, of hooting and hollering, all that shit. But it wasn't. It was the
Okay.
Patriots and it was the Seahawks, and that shit was boring. It was
All
bad.
right. Well, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, it was a great game for me because I've been tortured by the New England Patriots ever since I was able to watch football. I mean, we're talking about the early 90s. And this team has been like a thorn in my side. So to watch somebody like Drake May get rattled, throw the ball in the wrong direction, and everything that happened wrong on that team, on a Patriots team, was an absolute amazing game. It was a great game to me because that makes me feel a little bit
So
better about next
I,
season.
I'm gonna push back on you a little bit on that. Even
Okay.
though I get where you're coming from, I think that that's basically what I'm saying because you're a Jets fan and you have a dismay for the Patriots and you've watched them not only torture your franchise for years, but be one of the better, if not the best, franchise in the past 15 to 20 years.
Yes.
So for that to happen to them last night for you was more of a good thing. It
Okay.
was a
I
good
yeah.
thing for you. Like, yeah, I like this. This is what I want to see. The Patriots get their ass. Well, this is a good thing for me as Raj, but it don't
Well,
make it a good game.
well, okay. Well,
A
hey.
good a good game. Listen to me. Listen to me. A good game would have
Uh huh.
been them getting their heart snatched out.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's a good. It's down to the wire. Sam Darnold drive, and then a field goal to end the game. No time left. No OT. May can't get back on the field. They steal the Patriots' hearts.
okay.
That's a good game and a good thing.
Yeah.
But last night, for you, that was a good thing. You may call it a good game. I disagree. I'll say that was a good thing.
Okay.
All right, I like it. I like it. I like it. So we also, few headlines going on throughout the league, and one of them I just want to kind of touch on a couple awards that happened. Um, Matthew Stafford was named the MVP of the league. I believe they had that the day before the Super Bowl. They had that award show they do now. Instead of just announcing it, they make like a whole. It's like I call it the NFL Grammys, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Mike Vrabel was named Coach of the Year. Garrett was named Defensive Player of the Year, and Smith Njigba was named Offensive Player of the Year. Um, do you guys feel that out of those four categories, those four people deserved their award? If not, who should have been in their place and why?
You go ahead, R&B. You go first.
I think I'm gonna say I think I'm gonna say for the most part, yeah. I think all four of those were rightly awarded. If I had to think of any type of pushback, it would probably be Coach of the Year, and that's not taking nothing from Mike Vrabel. It just somebody I felt should have gotten some consideration, and that's not saying that he didn't, was Kyle Shanahan. The way he coached that team this year with all of the injuries that they had. When as a Detroit Lions fan, and we get to sit up and talk about, oh, well, the year last year our defense was hurt. This year, our defense was hurt again, and the offensive line was beat up, and blah blah blah. And yet we finished 9-8 and missed the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan was missing Pro Bowl players, linchpin
Mhm.
players. And he coached this team to a 12-win season. So that's a hell of a coaching job. Not to
And a
take anything away from Mike Vrabel.
and a playoff berth.
And a playoff berth. And damn near NFC championship. So yeah, they got their ass whooped, but yeah, they were still one game away from getting to the NFC championship. So that would probably be the only one that I would say that maybe I could have seen it going to somebody else and Kyle Shanahan, but offensive player of the year, Jackson Smith and Jigba, defensive player of the year, Miles Garrett, MVP, Stafford. I'm not mad at it.
I agree. I only have one problem, and this is gonna sound biased, but it's not. Um, I have an issue with players winning awards and not being on winning teams. Um,
Hmm.
because when we talk about, and we've talked about it here before, MVP, right? A player could be playing out of his mind, but if the MVP isn't translating, that MVP play isn't translating to W's, it's voided. Miles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. We know why he won. Because I'm telling you, had he have not broken that sack record, my opinion, he would not have won this award.
Right, give you that.
Um, but the Cleveland Browns won what? 3 games, 2 games, 4 games, whatever it was. I just want to know, in you guys' opinion, why certain awards aren't held to the same standard. MVP, Stafford, winning team. They got to the NFC Championship. Vrabel, Coach of the Year, got to the playoffs. Smithy and Jigba got to the playoffs. But you know, what does Garrett have to stand on outside of that record break? I
I,
mean,
I,
just the shift in it. I just want your opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just would like maybe something I'm not seeing.
Right. Let me just speak on that real quick. And I'm glad I went last because I agree with all the awards. I really don't have anything to add to it. But to answer that, the reason why I think that's separate from the offensive awards and the coaches awards is because Miles Garrett is a once in a generational type player, and he's played out of his mind on a defensive end. And even though the defense does have a lot to do with them winning or losing, but he can't control how much points they score. He can only control how many times he can stop the quarterback. So
Right.
at this point, I think they just pretty much judge it off of his actual position as a defensive player and a game changer. Because a lot of people feared, you know, playing up against the Browns because of him. You know what I'm saying? Versus it being there's an offensive side of it that can put up numbers or whatever. So it's like that in pretty much any defensive minded player, even in basketball. Like in basketball, if a team is doing terrible, but they got that one player that can stop the whole entire position, or they can block shots or steal, they can get that award. I think that's the only award that it kind of like caters towards an actual individual versus team success. So that's just my opinion on that.
Oh, just get curious because I'm even looking now. Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, yeah, you had Trayvon Henderson in there, but McMillan ended up winning. They went to the playoffs. You know, um, we have Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, that's a little different, but McCaffrey, I believe, won. They playoffs. So I just trying to understand the basis of it, in that degree. Um,
And I would add to what Roger's saying too by saying that sometimes, especially on defense, you have to kind of judge it by the merit of what it is. And Miles Garrett has anchored the Browns to be a very solid defense for such a, bad team. So with that being said, I think that kind of plays into it. Like they're looking at his win shares. They're looking at, how good that defense can be because of him. He doesn't play the offensive side of the ball, so he does not drive the needle from that side. So from the side that he plays the ball on, he's driven the needle damn near as best you could as the linchpin for that side of the ball. And it's not his fault that they have not given him the requisite offense to work with to help his defense. So I would think that that probably plays into it, but I don't think that you're crazy for asking the question either, though, Mike, because it is, it is kind of hard to really accept someone bringing home an award when they're not even making the playoffs, let alone having a winning record or whatever. But those are the reasons that I would say that he is able to still happen, at least for someone like a Miles Garrett.
Fair enough. Fair
Yep,
enough.
yep, yep.
So, would you say another headline I read is their defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is leaving? He's leaving. Resigned. I think this happened like two. I think I read it 2 weeks ago. Maybe you
Yeah,
guys remember exactly when,
he
but
wanted the head coaching job.
and I read that he's taking the. Oh, he wanted the head coaching job for Cleveland.
Yeah, he interviewed for the head coaching job. He wanted the head coaching job. They went on and went with Todd Monken. Todd Monken wanted to, keep Jim Schwartz for his, defensive coaching. He wanted to keep him on the staff. Schwartz has declined to stay. They said he left the building. Said he doesn't want to be there anymore, and that was that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know all the details, so thank you for that. So really, it wasn't about any other thing or the team. It was that he wanted to be the head coach, and they went another direction, and he
Yeah.
decided that it
Fuck
wasn't for
no.
him.
I don't know if you guys. I'm sorry to cut you off, but speaking of
Nope, you're
coaches,
good.
they said Click Kubiak is the official coach of the Las Vegas Raiders officially now.
Yeah, I
Clint
seen
Kubiak.
that. I
Okay.
read. I read he was excited to. I read that he said he was excited to go coach there. Godspeed. That's the place where coaches go to die. Because correct me if I'm wrong. Do any of the coaches that have been fired from there are they coaching right now? Out of
No,
all of them, I don't think they are. So your first job might be your
Josh,
last, bro.
Josh McDaniels,
Oh, you're right. You're
who
right.
just coached last night, but this is first go round back with New England, ain't it? He wasn't with New England last year.
no.
Mike Vrabel just brought him back this year.
Yeah,
So
I think
so
this is his third spin with New England. I think, if I'm not mistaken. I know I read something where it
yeah, because
said
remember he left back in the day for the Denver job
for
and failed.
Denver. And then the Colts job, he hired people, and then he decided he didn't want to do it and
Decided not to.
went back to New England. So I want to talk about, I would definitely want to get to NBA. So that's why I'm kind of trying to move through this NFL a little bit. Actually, I'll save that for last. I read that before the new league year, which starts March 15th, crazy to think, you get 5 weeks of, the Super Bowl, and then to have the down, not the downfall, to have to rest on it, and then a month later we're already talking about the new league year, right? Which I believe starts around March 15th, give or take. But the Falcons are talking about cutting Kirk Cousins.
Yep, I heard that.
Anyone who knows me and Raj knows we love Kirk Cousins here.
Yep.
Um, but do you believe, in both of your opinions, that he can be? Because from what I've read, he wants to be a starter still in the league. Um, and I feel like the league is taking a direction that doesn't fit the style of football that he plays. You still have, some quarterbacks who are older, but do you think he's serviceable to be a starter somewhere? And if so, where would that be if you think he is?
I
Well,
think Kirk. Oh, go ahead, Raj. Go
oh,
ahead.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
I was just gonna say that, and I'd be short. I think Kirk Cousins can be serviceable in a multiple places. It's just all about. It's gonna be the right fit for him, and I don't think that he's necessarily going to be a shoe-in starter anymore. If he's to start, it would probably be him going somewhere and having to beat someone out for a job or something like that. But other than that, I think that right now he's predominantly now a backup for the rest of his career. But being a backup does not mean that he couldn't go somewhere and potentially start if be an injury or something like that. So I think he's a safe pick. But I definitely think that there are multiple places that he could go where his services could be used in the film room or on the field.
Hmm.
I agree. Um, I just one of those destinations to me of a place that's looking to move on, and I think he could fit in and do some good there. Miami might be a good fit for him.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know what their plan is. I know they want to trade Tua. If they cut him, I mean, hey, what's it hurt? If you don't draft a guy or whatever, and you want to pick him up in the interim, I think that's a location where he could do some. Could be a starter and maybe even have a pretty decent year. Um, you know, maybe nothing great, but I think he could have a decent year. I don't know how you feel about this, but Arizona is looking to trade Kyler Murray. So somewhere, if Jacoby Brissett can have a good play well, I think Kirk Cousins could play pretty well there because all the top tier teams you look at, they don't need quarterbacks. Obviously there's been talk of Aaron Rodgers returning to Pittsburgh, but if they were to sign Kirk Cousins, what they got to lose at this point? I personally still think we need to throw Will Howard in there and see what he has, but that's not here nor there. But go ahead, Raj, because you didn't get to speak on that topic yet.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and yeah, you guys can hear me. It like cut in and out.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I agree. I think that you want to look at teams like the Cardinals. I also will throw in the Jets in that situation as a bridge quarterback because I think that it gives them opportunity to get to at least start for like maybe the majority of the season, and then potentially whoever the Jets decide if they do get a quarterback to play as a rookie, they can kind of like filter him in there every once in a while and get him acclimated to the system. But I would also, if and this is a very very difficult situation because they pretty much drew their line in the sand. But I would love to see him play alongside Jetta again. I would like to see him with the Vikings because I think he did great out there in Minnesota, and I truly believe if Minnesota gets a good quarterback, they can actually be scary. I'm not saying they can win it all, go to Super Bowl, but they can at least make a playoff and make a run. So I would love to see him out there in Minnesota again. But I honestly think they kind of moved on from him and looking in the direction of JJ McCarthy. So I don't know. Those are my three teams. I know there's other teams
I don't
like the
think it would
Saints.
hurt.
Huh?
I don't think it would hurt for Minnesota to, possibly bring him in just to, even
Yeah.
if it's for a backup role, which really is, if me and you were the GM and the coach, I'm
Uh
coming
huh.
to you, Coach Raj. It's,
Yep.
we bringing him in for a backup role because we really don't know what the fuck we got in JJ McCarthy after last year. So
Exactly.
we gonna bring this safe bet in and
Hmm.
just in case we have to go to this, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's perfect. And it's so funny because this season was really weird. We witnessed a guy that was in retirement come out of retirement and play and actually make a serious run with the team. With Philip Rivers. Like this dude was sitting at home. So anything's possible. I think they just need to find the right team, the right system for Kirk Cousins to go to. But I just hate the narrative that he's a franchise killer and a franchise robber. Like they got him with a ski mask on in some of these memes. I don't like that because even though he's not a flashy quarterback, he's still serviceable.
Mm.
Yeah, he's serviceable. I would probably. I hear you on the Vikings. I'm gonna push back on Mike though with the Cardinals and the Steelers. Reason why I say that is number one, the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett is younger, and at this point in both of their careers, I think that you're getting more from Brissett than Cousins. So if I'm a roll with either one of those two as a franchise, I'm gonna roll with Brissett and hopefully see if we can make something happen with the draft. Pittsburgh, I run it back with Aaron Rodgers, and this completely me not being an Aaron fan or being non-biased. I run it back with Aaron Rodgers before I bring Kirk Cousins in there because Aaron Rodgers to me showed that in certain situations he can still manipulate the pocket very well. He can still give you a little bit of old man mobility. Kirk Cousins is virtually a statue. And if Pittsburgh not about to do anything to improve that offensive line, everybody thought Aaron would get killed last year with that offensive line. Kirk Cousins will get killed. It will be a murder if they were to, try to bring somebody like a Kirk Cousins in to stand behind that offensive line, which is why I said the right fit when I had gave my take because with given his injury history and where he's at right now in his career, Kirk Cousins would definitely have to be somewhere where he can be protected by the whole line because he's a statue. He's not moving around. He's Jared Goff times five Jared Goff with the lack of mobility right now at this point in his career. Jared Goff will probably beat him in a race. So
It's crazy.
I was insane. I was just kind of just throwing teams where there was potential for him to be a starter, more or less than anything else, because we
I'm
know,
with you.
like, because those are the teams right now where quarterbacks kind of like, who's it gonna
Yeah.
be? All the other teams, at least offhand, are pretty solidified. I mean, maybe except like the Colts, because Lord knows what they're gonna do now. But for the most part, they're pretty solidified at the position. So I guess we'll see what happens with Kirk Cousins. Will, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Will?
My sincerest apologies for you know what I mean, being tardy today. It was a day. It was definitely a day today. You
It's
know what I'm saying?
okay.
It's all good.
Well, before we're almost done with the NFL section, before we go into the NBA, just have the Hall of Fame. But I wanted to get your take at least.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then we didn't do the list yet for the top 10
Okay.
half times. We'll do that at the end. But
Okay.
I just want to get your take on the Super Bowl and the game now that you're here. What did you take away from the Super Bowl last night? Stressed out.
Like literally, I'm not just saying this because we're talking about it right now. I'm not trying to be prisoner of the moment. That might have possibly been the most boring Super Bowl I have ever watched in my life. Like it was just, and I don't, and not like both defenses played well. Like you know what I mean. So not necessarily that it was all bad football per se, but it just wasn't like one of the Super Bowls on Ryan's worst list was 49ers Chargers, right? Ryan,
Yeah.
look, I know that game was a blowout and everything, but like at least the 49ers got out there and got to, you know what I'm saying? They made some exciting plays and you know what I'm saying? Jerry Rice went crazy and like it like I said, it was never a competitive game, absolutely. But there were things over the course of that game that were, you know, like exciting football plays. Like this shit last night like that I've never watched a Super Bowl that bored me so much. I don't know if I've ever watched a football game that bored me so much. I can find the joy in a defensive battle. I really can. I genuinely can. I'm old enough, like you know what I mean. That you know, yeah, like I can. That was just sad. That look, Ryan to tell you, I basically slept almost the whole second half. Like we all was dozing off on the couch. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was like there was really no particular point of interest for me in that particular Super Bowl. So yeah, I ain't gonna be the dead horse because if I had to guess, you know what I mean. Nobody was exactly thrilled with the product last night, right?
Surprisingly, Raj was.
Mm.
Surprisingly, unsurprisingly.
No, 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 no. You know what? Let me correct myself. Outside of Raj, you know what I'm saying? Outside of Raj, let me correct myself. I said corrected. I can be corrected. Absolutely.
So the other thing that I forgot to bring up, well, now that Will's here, I'll bring it up because in R&B had made note of it earlier that he wanted to discuss was the lovely halftime show we got this year. You know, one thing that one thing I've always enjoyed about sports is it's a way for us to get away from reality for 2 to 3 hours
Mm,
and
mm,
enjoy something that's entertaining, that's fast, that's upbeat, and it's something that in terms of football and basketball at least, but it's a way for us to kind of go into another space, right? I've always enjoyed that about sports. I don't like when the sports become political.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've made it blatantly clear in on this show and in other places that I am not Kendrick Lamar's biggest fan. And I start with him last year, with last year's performance, because a lot of people did not want him to perform. A lot of people were against the performance, right? This man went out here and did a culture performance. And they told him not to perform that song. Nigga didn't care. He did it anyway. My man went and used the NFL stage and called Drake a pedophile. I'm like,
Wait, wait,
oh
wait,
my
wait, wait,
God.
wait, Mike. I'm sorry. The halftime show of the Super Bowl is produced down to the millisecond. So do you really think that they weren't on board with him performing that shit? Because everything hit, the camera was where it needed to be, the music was like nah, bro, nah.
Hold on. Hold
Can't,
on. Hold on. Hold on. You're probably right. But originally, the NFL did not want him to play that song. They
just because
didn't
they
want
said
him to
that
do it.
that it was true. No,
I'm
if
telling
they didn't
you.
want to do it, he wouldn't have been there, Mike. If they didn't
Hold
want
on.
him, if
Hold
the
on. I don't
NFL
want to get
did
off
not want him to
topic
do
here.
it, he wouldn't have been.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't
Go
want to
ahead.
get off
I'm
topic
sorry.
here.
I'm
Hold
sorry.
on.
I'm
Hold
sorry.
on. I just don't want to get off topic. So let me rephrase. Originally, they did not want him to play that song, so they said. But it turned into a political game, right? He went out there. Samuel L. Jackson was representing Uncle Sam. The performance happened. It ended up being the most watched performance in the history of the halftime show. Now we fast forward a little bit to yesterday. Let me tell you, I'm almost feeling comfortable enough to speak for all four of us to some degree. None of us wanted to see Bad Bunny up there. Like, talk about the halftime show nobody asked for. You got people getting married up there. You got Lady Gaga up there. Like, I'm like, what is going on? And then after the performance, I look on my Facebook feed and I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? It's just a way of division. And I'm watching, it's like everyone versus the Hispanic culture. Everyone like, oh, it was good. It was bad. It was good. It was bad. And it's just like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. This, that. I'm like, we're so far backwards. I mean, we keep going backwards that it's making it hard for me as a fan of the sport to enjoy it, because now everything with especially the NFL has to be political, or has to be politically correct. To be honest with you, I didn't give a shit that Bad Bunny performed. Did I want it? No, but it is what it is. We're not paid to make those decisions. And Jay Z, Mr. Carter. I know there's a lot of stuff going around about him and these Epstein files, but don't ever do that to us again. Don't don't don't
I
don't
heard
don't don't do
Mike.
that.
Mike, can you hear me?
What
Wait a
happened?
minute.
I can hear
Wait,
you.
I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. What about the Epstein files and Jay Z?
They saying I haven't. I've been reading some things online that
Did
he's
you
got
read it?
some
Wait,
kind.
did you read exactly what the extent of his name showing up in the Epstein files? You know what I mean? Exactly is.
I did not. I'm just saying.
Mm, mm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
wh-
I
wh-
did, I did, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah, when it
they
to me it
didn't
just
they
go
didn't
ahead.
He,
want Jay Z there.
no,
They
he,
didn't
no,
want Jay Z there, and that's why his name was. That's all his name was.
no, his he was never directly implicated as somebody who Epstein was, you know what I mean, delivering underage children to. Somebody that had an issue with Jay Z brought his name to the investigation, and amongst the investigation, they didn't find anything. You know what I mean? That you know what I mean corroborated this person's story. So let's be very very careful. You know what I mean? If we gonna talk about it, let's make sure we do our research.
Oh, no, 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 no. It's not about research. It's about perception. Because guess what? Unfortunately, for you and anyone here, that's normal. But unfortunately, perception becomes reality.
Which
Is
is why
the
I'm saying what I'm saying.
right? I understand that, but guess what? If anyone watches this back, you think they're gonna do that research? You think they're gonna really look into it? To
No,
me,
but that
all
don't. But that don't mean we have to perpetuate it.
no, it doesn't mean that. But the point that I'm saying is that when it gets out there, it has that effect on people. You
That's
can't
because
sit
the
up here
truth,
and act like it don't affect
the
someone.
lie is more entertaining than the truth. That's why.
Well, that's just like when you put something positive out in the world, it
Is
gets it don't get looked at. But if I go outside and I shoot 12 people in the head, that's gonna get looked at. But if I donate $100,000 to a charity, no one's gonna care.
That's right.
and that don't mean that we have to repost you shooting people in the head as opposed to you know what I mean. You
Right.
know like you know that's all I'm saying.
And I would hope no one would repost me shooting people in the head, but that would get reposted again and again, And before we get back and I let everyone go about yesterday's halftime, Raj knows in our area there's a person, a reporter. Her name's Blaze Gomez, and she gets drugged through the mud. But the reason she gets drugged through the mud is so like there was a big fight in this town that I'm from, that me and Roger both from, Newburgh, that there's a big fight. People were fighting in this restaurant. Someone got thrown through the window. She reports that. Not only does she report that, right? She didn't even go and report it herself. She took a video clip she found, reposted it, and then made a report. Now, this past week, a bunch of kids in the high school walked out and protested against ICE. This bitch was nowhere to be found. Not a peep. Didn't even bat an eye. Didn't even bat an eye. And that's just the thing. That's just it. Just I'm just trying to see like you should be doing that. You should be reporting that. That's important. The kids and the youth sticking up for something that they believe in. But no. But the money, you got some niggas scrapping, you right there, even when you not there.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Well, let me say this
Trying to
kind of.
figure out the merit on what this got to do with accusing Jay-Z before the Epstein though.
I don't. I'm not. I was gonna let it go because I didn't want to. You know what I mean? Like sound like the asshole. You know what I mean? So I was gonna move on from it. But
Meaning there's other things affecting his mind, man. That's what I'm
Yo,
saying.
yeah,
Other
he was.
things affecting his mind.
Yeah, he was
He
just saying
I
making
don't
like
look.
bad
I
he was
don't.
decisions.
saying
I don't.
don't.
I don't know what's affecting Jay Z's mind. I have no
Them
clue
dreads
about what's
too.
affecting Jay Z's mind,
Them
or Drake,
dreads.
or like you know what I'm saying. I have no
So let,
clue about that.
let
I
me
can't
just say
speak to
this.
that.
Let me just say this real quick about the performance real quick. I agree with Mike when it comes down to the political stance because I believe that there's a time and place for everything, right? And when it comes down to it, I knew this was going to be a political thing when they announced that Bad Bunny's performance because of the whole situation with ICE. Now, I don't
Pittsburgh
understand,
Steelers pajamas.
huh? Nah, but it was like one of those things where it was like, okay, well, this is a perfect layup for them because
I see
they're
what you
going to
talking
mention
about.
they're going to mention the ICE situation or they're going to mention immigration, and they're going to make it a statement, just like we did with Black Lives Matter when that situation happened with George Floyd. But at this point, I'm just exhausted from all these protests, and it's like at the end of the day, it's a football game, it's a performance for halftime, and it sounds insensitive, but I rather just focus on that. So I don't mind Bad Bunny performing. I think he did pretty dope as far as the visuals because I didn't understand anything he was saying, but the visuals were pretty dope. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So
That's a fact.
I'm just keeping it a stack. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was a great visual representation of the culture, his culture, of course. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was pretty cool to see all that. But when it's all said and done, Jay Z is pandering. Let's keep it a stack. Jay Z's pandering towards the Latin market, and I don't blame him because that's a huge market. Just like the president's race goes towards that, towards the Latino votes. So does the music votes. Like everyone wants to listen to what's hot right now. So it is what it is. So that's my take on it, man. I just feel like a lot of stuff could have been avoided or not mentioned in this whole situation because honestly, that's the reason why we got dissension in the first place because they had a whole halftime show on YouTube with the Turning Point with all the people that didn't want to watch it, and I thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, damn, that kind of opens the door for everybody to do their own halftime show. So that's just my opinion.
And look, that boy just set the record for the highest rated halftime show in NFL history last night. Most watched halftime show in NFL history. And that shit
Yes,
was hot
sir.
garbage. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush with y'all. It was hot garbage. I don't give a damn about protests. I don't give a damn about ICE. I don't give a damn about none of that stuff. None of that shit. No political stance. I just wanted a good football game, a good motherfucking halftime show
We
where I
got
could be
neither.
entertained while I have my drink, have my beer, chill with my fellas, smoke some bud, and eat some food. And like Mike just said, we got none of that when it comes to the game and the halftime show. That shit was hot garbage, bro. And like you said, it's not necessarily that I I'll be honest, I didn't want to see no fucking Bad Bunny. But if I was gonna have to sit up and watch Bad Bunny, I at least want to know what the motherfucker's saying. I at least want to know what the fuck he's saying. Hallelujah, I mean, eh, uh. Bro, the shit made me. I was high, so I felt like I was watching somebody that don't think or retarded perform. so, so it's like, what the fuck are we watching here, bro? Like that. Come on, man. Don't do that to us. Don't do
I,
that
I,
to us again.
I heard they're doing K-pop next year.
Oh my goodness.
Probably
that would be I wouldn't even watch at that point. The halftime show is supposed to be it's supposed to be, and again, it's not the fact that they wouldn't got Bad Bunny to perform. It's the fact that they wouldn't got Bad Bunny to perform, and I don't understand none of the shit that he's saying, what he's talking about. And I'm looking at these visuals, and I'm looking at people and grass and shit, and um, it just was a bit much, man. I'd have rather watch Pitbull walk around in that damn white suit, linen suit with the sunglasses and Neo pop out there for a minute. Give me everything tonight. That would have satisfied me better than that shit. You know, I don't know what that was, bro.
I feel like
I
he's
don't,
fucking with me. I don't fuck with Pitbull. I keep fucking with me right now.
Oh,
It's cutting in and out.
you
it's
breaking
you
up
you
bad.
break you breaking up.
Go ahead. I wasn't saying nothing important. Go ahead.
Oh man. Well, I mean, hopefully we can get a little more, but I guess while we still on the halftime show, let's do our list. You got them.
Wait, wait, oh, I ain't get my chance to get my halftime take. I ain't get my chance to get my halftime take.
Oh, go ahead.
So this is what Ryan knows me. R&B know me. If I had a catchphrase, it would be more than one thing can be true at the same time.
Hmm.
So while I did not necessarily enjoy the halftime performance, like I ain't mad about that shit. Like it's Ryan said it. It was the number one rated halftime show ever. Um, Raj talked about it, you know what I mean, yesterday in regards to Living Color and how we even fucking got here with the NFL actually doing like, you know what I mean, trying to put on a good halftime show and shit. Um, and for a long time, it was like the fucking and researching and really looking back on shit because I forgot about a lot of this shit. Like it was like the Rolling Stones and the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers or some shit
Hmm.
and all kind of bullshit that I never like was way worse than fucking Bad Bunny. Like you know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest, I'm not anti Rolling Stones. I'm not anti rock and roll. It's rock and roll that I like. So it's not. I want to be clear about. I want to be clear about that. Like it's not that. But like the Michael Jackson halftime show was like the first one that was like, oh shit, nigga, like damn, yeah, okay, like let's go. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
it's been a lot worse. Look, I'm not acting like I understood that shit. I'm not acting like I can follow it. Ryan heard me say it, like, nigga, did somebody just get married? Like, what the fuck just happened? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It
Like, I'm,
turns out that was the
How did
real
he get
wedding.
here?
like, I was not
And
able to
you
follow
know,
it. And
again, Will, if we would have been able to understand the shit, we would have knew that it was a real wedding. We
hey,
just
hey,
thought it was pop shit.
hey, but look, listen, when Dre and Snoop and 50, and I'm not saying it's not white people that don't listen to them or people that's not black that don't listen to them, but you think like it wasn't a whole lot of motherfuckers was like, who the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are they talking about right now? Like, and we didn't, the Missy, the Usher, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never. I guess my point is, like, you never gonna please everybody. You know what I mean? And at the end of
True.
the day, it's a fucking business. And like you said, they had the highest rated halftime show in history, so they got exactly
Yeah.
what they wanted. You know what I mean? And again, I'm a double back to the Kendrick thing. Like, don't listen. The reason he got that show was because of that fucking song. So don't tell me that they didn't expect him to perform that song.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like that's the sole reason he had that performance. You know what I mean? So again, the NFL is a business. They know how to promote a product. They do a pretty good job of that shit. You know what I
I,
mean?
I
So
think
so
Kendrick. I think Kendrick could have got that performance without that song.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I one
Nah.
million percent disagree.
Nah.
Not to mention,
I disagree too.
I 1,000,000%. He had the
it,
hottest song.
it was
He
his
got a
second time
Grammy
on
for a
on
diss
the Super
record.
Bowl. That
He
was his
got a
second
Grammy for a
time.
diss record. He got a Grammy for a diss record, bro.
It was his second time
It
performing
was
on the
it
halftime
it,
show.
it was the song,
Yeah,
but
but
but he wasn't the feature artist.
Well, it doesn't matter. He was still
It does.
there.
No, it does because
It does
Beyonce.
not.
No, yes, it does because Beyonce had a Beyonce feature halftime show, and then Beyonce had a show where it was Coldplay, Bruno Mars, and Beyonce. It's not the same thing, bro.
But
It's not.
he was
It's
still
not.
there.
It's not. It's
You
not.
take
It's not the same. It's not the
I
same,
agree.
man.
so what was the reason Usher got it when he had nothing crazy new or
Us,
hot?
us,
Because he's
no,
one of the
because
best R&B singers of
no,
all time.
no, no. Also, he had the hottest show in Vegas at the time, and
Hmm.
everybody was talking about that shit. So yeah, like that matters. That kind of shit matters. It's almost never other than them old ass white rock bands. It's almost never somebody that ain't got some shit popping, and especially since Jay Z has been in the role that he done been in. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's nah, bro. It matters. There's a difference between headlining and you know what I mean, being a part of the show, being a part of the ensemble.
So 2023, what did Rihanna
Tito will never be Michael Jackson.
what did Rihanna have in 2023 that got her the nod?
Number one
What did
records.
What? No,
what
yeah,
records? What was you're telling me that these people had current stuff? She came
Yeah.
pregnant.
yeah,
She hasn't released
no.
nothing
Look,
new in
listen. No,
years.
she did have current records. No, I don't think she expected to be pregnant at the Super Bowl. I don't think that was anybody's plan.
No.
But again, wait.
No, no.
So again, just like with Bad Bunny, just because we don't listen to that shit, don't mean a whole bunch of other people don't. So just because you weren't listening to the Rihanna or you weren't interested in seeing her, don't mean that it wasn't a whole other bunch, a whole other a lot of people that were. And that's what
I just
happens at
want
every Super Bowl.
I,
Super Bowl.
I just want to come in real quick and give I think two fact checks. Rihanna did not have any current music when she did the halftime show. She still does not have any current music. Usher did have the hottest show in Vegas, but he also dropped the album on the same day as the Super Bowl. And I believe that both of those people got the nod because they are two legendary artists. Usher being well overdue, and Rihanna, just being a legend in her own right.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Fair enough.
And you guys got to remember, look, at the end of the day, the halftime show is produced by a certain agency. Okay. So when Rihanna got up there, it was Rock Nation. If my memory serves me correct. Wasn't Rock Nation behind that?
Believe so.
She's
I,
she's
I
a
mean, in theory, Rock Nation behind all of it.
artist.
well. I'm saying as far, yeah, that's what I mean. Like as
I mean,
far
if
as
Jay is running it, you know what I'm saying? Then it's all. Which I guess he's. I don't know what his affiliation is now because he sold off whatever he sold off. So I don't know
yeah,
what that means at this point. But yeah,
right,
I know what you're saying about that. Yeah, I'm with you.
right.
I'm with
So he's putting on his Rock Nation artist. So of course they might not have current music or they might not have any type of like big shows coming up or tours, but they're trying to. He basically put on artists that he likes, that he is affiliated with. So even with Bad Bunny's affiliated with him with his Rock Nation Latino division. See, and the thing is, what happened last night, what made it so special last night, even though I didn't understand nothing it was saying, there was hundreds of millions of people that did. You know what I'm saying?
you.
And
That's what.
we're talking about the global market, like we talked about last week, and it's kind of segueing into back to the NFL. But like we talked about last week with these damn international games. At the beginning, I hated them. I'm like, oh my god, these damn international games, they're coming on early in the morning or real late at night or whatever, or it goes until late at night because they're trying to build a global market. They're looking at the U.S. They're looking at the U.S. and they're saying, okay, we pretty much capped our market share when it comes down to how many people watch our product with the NFL and the NBA or whatever. So now they're trying to expand it to markets like Brazil, Mexico, um,
Exactly.
uh, places
Well,
in Europe. You
They
know,
speak Portuguese in Brazil. They don't speak Spanish. But Mexico City, they've been playing games in Mexico
well,
City for how long now?
right, but
I
that's what
think
I'm
like
saying.
4 years.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is they're expanding, expanding, expanding,
Right? No, I'm
and
agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
yeah, and it's like it's to the point where we're gonna have to just accept, hey, and I was joking, but I'm low key serious too. They might do K-pop in a couple years, like because that's becoming a thing.
But no, it's already a thing, bro. Like that's what I was saying about Bad Bunny is like the biggest artist in the world right now. So again, just because we
Yeah,
don't listen to it, don't mean that a whole lot of NFL fans don't. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And the
exactly.
same thing with the K-pop. Like you know what I mean? Like that goes crazy. You know what I mean? All around the world right now. We don't listen to
Yeah,
it.
right. And like Coach Will was saying, that's the NFL's product. They're trying to sell this product, and Jay Z's one of the guys that's behind the scene with the music. That's why they got him there because he knows these artists personally. So there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot that goes into it, and he gets behind doors that most of these NFL executives can't. Like Roger Goodell ain't got no swag. That dude can't pull an artist like Bad Bunny to do a show. Like he don't have it like that. He got to pull Jay Z in and be like, look, talk to his people and see if you get him to perform at the halftime show. So that's just my take, man. I think a lot of the market also is going towards the Latin market as well in sports and also music because it's becoming more influenced more than ever.
The world is everybody in the world is international now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just
Yeah.
local or national anymore. The NFL is looking for international dollars. And
Hmm.
Brian said to me, he said, "Man, why the hell they put Bad Bunny in a halftime show?" I said, "Because they want to put a team in Mexico City."
Yep.
And like
Exactly.
but for real, like that's why they've been putting games down there to gauge whether that's a viable option for them.
And
So
and
that's
you know
part of
what?
the reason why Bad Bunny is, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a business move.
And Coach Will said it best. He said because they want to put it in the Mexico City market, right? Peep game. The NBA is trying to move out there too. They got an NBA team out there, a G League team out there
A G League team,
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Mexico City got the highest population as a city in all of
And all in North
America.
America, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see the population real quick. I believe it's like eight,
No, it's
10
crazy.
million. It's like 10, 15 million.
And a lot of those places go a lot more. They're more excited than our fans
Yeah,
over here.
22 million. 22 million to be exact. So New York City is the highest in the United States, which is 8, 9 million.
Right.
They got
And
about
22 million
double,
is
22 million people. Of
almost
course,
triple.
yeah, almost triple. Of course, they're gonna bring a team out there. And I think, and the kind of sidebar, real quick, I think they're gonna do an international flag football team out there because the Olympics in 2028, 2027, I think, or
Wouldn't
2028,
surprise me.
whatever.
Wouldn't
Because they're
surprise me.
doing it because Mexico's real big on flag football.
Mm, mm. Well, we're gonna see the world gonna keep changing, and we're gonna have to just keep changing with it.
Yep.
Hey, but it will keep changing, Mike. But one thing Will was saying, like when they was putting the black artists up there, there's plenty of people who may not have liked to hit or wanted to see them up there or hear that shit, and that's true. But like he say, more than one thing can be true at the same time. At
Hmm.
least we could understand what the fuck our artist was saying, and I'm gonna just end it with that.
Oh man. Well, I'll come back to the list. We got to get into this NBA. And before we get into All Star Weekend, there were two trades that crossed my eyeballs that were really head scratchers. And we gonna start with, as Raj calls him, always dinged.
Oh man,
Hmm.
AD.
Oh, so I seen a couple weeks ago. I don't even think we discussed the Wizards traded for Trey Young, right?
Hmm. Yes.
I believe he's injured currently, right?
Allegedly,
That's
yes.
correct.
I don't know what's going on with Trey Young because he played like two or three games right before he got traded from Atlanta before he you know what I'm saying got traded, but before he played he was sitting out for them. So I don't know what's going on with Trey Young. They haven't really been clear on his injury situation. Whether it's like one of them situations where they just trying to keep it low pro, maybe they want him to just sit out for the rest of the year
Yeah.
because they already know where they headed. Could be
It's
some tanking going on.
Right. And now we have you trade for Anthony Davis. Um, what I gotta say is kind of short and sweet. They traded the guy that got them to the finals for a man that only suited up 30 and played 31 games for them. That's number one. Number two, on top of that, you never got to see him, Kyrie, and Cooper Flag on the floor together.
mm-hmm.
That's number two. And
Mike,
huh?
pause, breaking news, and then I'll let you go right back in.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban has partnered with somebody and he's trying to obtain the Dallas Mavericks back. He's trying to buy them back. I
Mm.
just saw that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's
Which,
We
that's
yeah,
because he mad about how they doing it too.
yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna
but
get to
but
that.
but that also has to mean that the dude he sold it to is like, man, fuck this. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like like seriously, like if it's getting like, because it can't just be like Mark Cuban, like I want to buy the Mavericks back. Be some legitimate conversations taking place. You know what I mean? If it's coming out, so my man got to be like, man, no, like fuck this. This ain't what I thought it was gonna be. It was all good just a week ago.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Go
Uh,
ahead.
you're good. And the last point I'm gonna make is Washington. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
Can I
what are you doing?
can
It's
I can
really a
I
question. I'm hoping one of you guys can answer it. What are they
yeah,
doing?
let me go real quick. Let me say this real quick. First and foremost, I love the move that Washington Wizards made. Okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because they got a young core over there that they need to develop and they need to grow over time, and they can position themselves to get a top pick this upcoming draft. So picking up Trey Young, picking up AD, we know what it is. It's pretty much a move so they can be a playoff contending team or at least get to the playoffs, and they're trying to find a way to also bring in a blue chip talent. So they have Trey Young sitting out. They already announced that AD is going to be sitting out for the remainder of the season. And honestly, I think in about 3 years, they're going to be a top five team in the East. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but I love what they got out there in DC. I love what they created because they grabbed up a lot of young players that can actually ball, like Will Rowley. They got uh Alex Starr. They got a few other players on that team that can really hoop. If you watch their games, they can really hoop. It's just a matter of just putting the vets out there that can actually help them and help them get to where they need to go. That's all.
Hmm, okay. Whoever wants to
Um,
go next.
I would say I agree with Raj for the most part. Only thing I don't agree with is that I don't think they made these moves for 3 years from now. Um, every the NBA is not a vacuum, so every move is not, you know what I mean, equivalent for every team across the board. So meaning that, every team that draft a certain player ain't gonna be able to develop them the right kind of way. I just heard Draymond talking about how tough it was for Kaminga to get drafted seventh to a team that's contending for a title. When typically at seven, you a player that's gonna get a chance to kind of learn the hard way, make your
Exactly.
mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And whether that's, you know what I mean, your coaching, your training, your player development. You know what I mean? Like that's not the same across the board. Signing a free agent or, you know what I mean, trading for a player is not the same across the board. Um, for the Washington Wizards, they are not going to sign a top level free agent. Um, they drafted John Wall, and they had a chance to build something. Whatever happened with that. Whether it's his injuries or whatever the case may be. Um, I feel like for the Washington Wizards, I like the gamble that they're taking. I'm not again like Rod said. I'm not saying they're gonna win a championship.
Mhm.
Um, it's smart to let Trey go ahead and I know what Ryan is saying about Trey Young true health. What I will say in regards to that is like he might be healthy enough to play, but that don't mean he 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because most players ain't
Right.
100% by the middle of the season. You know what I mean? It's something nagging or whatever the case may be. Um, I like what they're doing. They're being creative. You know what I mean? They're rolling the dice, no doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They definitely rolling the dice. But if they come back next year with Trey Young, with a healthy Trey Young, with a healthy Anthony Davis, with a Alex Sarr, me and Ryan was just talking about this. I feel like Alex Sarr kind of looked like a super high level role player, like not
Yep.
necessarily a guy that's gonna dominate. You know what I'm saying? And carry your franchise, be the face of your franchise, but playing next to a Trey Young and an Anthony Davis is gonna benefit him. They already got a couple of other young pieces. They probably, probably about to have another, high lottery pick. Um, I'm really curious to see what they look like next year. And again, I'm not saying they turn into a championship next year or the year after or 3 years from now. But I understand, what I mean, kind of like why they moving the way they moving. And
Right.
I kind of wish more NBA teams were more willing to understand that, we're not New York or LA or Miami or like, what I'm saying? We got to kind of get it out the mud. We got to do it a different way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's an apples to apples comparison, but much in the way that Joe Dumars did and Jack McLeod did, you know what I mean, with our two different Pistons championships. You know what I mean? They weren't built in a traditional sense. You know what I'm saying? And those are a little bit different. Free agency wasn't a factor in a way like with the bad boys. It was more prevalent, you know what I mean, with going to work or whatever. But just doing it a non-traditional way is like the point that I'm making. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do it the same way that, you know what I mean, those certain big market. Shit, even Boston is considered a big market and they
Mhm.
couldn't sign it. Like Danny Ainge was just out here hustling. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the
Exactly.
league. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
for real, it's not that he ever got the big free agent that was available. Nobody came to
Right.
and signed with Boston, and he tried. Yeah, and he tried to trade for players that didn't want to come to Boston. You know what I mean? He had to do it like the real old school way, just drafting players. You know what I'm saying? Trades here and there, and you know what I mean, bringing in the right kind of players. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, that's what I say. Like I don't know if it's gonna get them a champion. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. And I don't think all of these moves necessarily right now have to be like, okay, well, we got to get a championship out of this. As long as they kind of get to that space where maybe they got an opportunity to make that move that really makes them a championship contender. If and after saying all of that, if Trey Young and Anthony Davis can stay healthy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I just want
Because
to
that
add.
can't be lost in the conversation.
That's a fact.
Mm.
I just want to add one thing real quick before R&B goes. I want to say this. Most 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 of these teams are not in it to win championships. Let's just keep it real. Most of
I
them
agree.
understand that they just want to sell tickets, they want to sell jerseys, and they want to put butts in the seat and get as much attention as possible. That Trey
And
Young.
what did
Hmm? Go ahead. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say? What did I say when that move first went down? I say this is a draft pick and sell tickets move trade.
Yeah,
I mean, but
exactly.
it's also buy low on a high opportunity trade
So
too. They
yeah,
didn't get like it's
for
not that
sure,
like they gave
for
up a
sure,
whole lot for
for
Trey
sure.
Young
Right.
or
And
Anthony
Yeah,
Davis. They
exactly.
it's
nigga,
it's a
Anthony Davis
it's a
got traded
smart
for a
it's a
stock
smart
full of
move.
nickels.
It's a smart move because you end up with two perennial all stars when
Yep.
healthy, and 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 um and you got a chance to motherfucking hold on to Alex Sarr, who's starting to come around and put up some solid numbers for you,
Mhm.
and you gain some draft equity in the whole thing. So like it's a smart move. And then at the end of the day, you should sell more tickets because
Yep.
if you can keep AD and Trey Young can give you a percentage of games, people are gonna want to come see them.
Yeah.
And one more thing, real quick, that I left out too. Correct me
Hmm.
if I'm wrong, but neither one of them have been extended yet either.
No. No, they
You know
have.
what I'm saying? So you have time to, you know what I'm saying? It's not like they gave them both the bag, and now they stuck the next 3 4 years. You know what I'm saying? With
Hmm.
depreciating assets that if they get still be injured all the time, nobody else wants. They got some time to kind of see where this gonna go.
Yep.
It's a I feel like it didn't cost them a whole lot to acquire either one of them. You know what I mean? They didn't have to gut their roster to acquire either one of them. And if
Hmm.
it don't work out, it don't work out. If they end up extending them and you know what I mean, the injuries come, then that's a whole nother conversation down the line. But right now, you know what I mean, I kind of like the flexibility, you know what I mean, that they kind of afforded their franchise.
I agree. I
Yeah,
definitely
so
agree.
so Trey Young is in the final year of
Mm,
his guaranteed contract, earning
right.
43 million. So that's 43 million in cap that they can have at the end of next season.
And
Anthony
he got a
Davis.
player option, right?
Yeah, I think
Let
he
me
does.
see. Let me see.
I think they both do. I think
Yeah,
they
yeah,
both
yeah, yeah.
got next year and
So
then a
yeah,
player option, right?
so yeah, he has a player option, and then Anthony Davis also has a player option.
Yeah,
Hmm.
next year and
But
then a
Anthony
player
Davis,
option, right?
yeah, I'm about to say Anthony Davis
Mm.
contract go through next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
What?
2030. Up
Wait.
until close almost 2030.
So Trey's player option is next year, and then Anthony Davis
and
got next
Anthony
year,
Davis is the year
and
after
then the
after
player
that.
option. Yeah.
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 And real
Uh,
quick, I want to say this real quick too. You know what makes this so unique, fellas? That both of the organizations, the Dallas Mavericks and also the Atlanta Hawks, gave up on their players. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because the Dallas Mavericks said, you know what? I don't think we can win with AD because of his injuries. Like that hand injury really messed him up with his chances out there in Dallas. And then Trey Young being a pretty much like a 6 foot guard that doesn't quote unquote defend, they gave up on that style of type point guard. So now they're like, okay, this can be a team that we can pay them the money because they still got the cap, like they still got money, right? So they can pay the all stars the type of money they're looking for, and also they can create something out there. They can create like a
mhm,
culture and they can have a chip on their shoulder. Because I'm telling you, that pick and roll is going to be crazy if they can stay healthy with Anthony Davis and also Alex Sarr. I love both of them for Trey Young because that's what he needs. He needs a big that's
mhm,
mobile and can
mhm.
also hit the shot, the, the 3 pointer. So I don't know. It's gonna be a fun thing. And shout out to DC, man. DC is a fun city. I've been out there
Yeah.
many a time. Great city to go. I wish them all the best because they can't win nothing, man.
Mhm.
I mean, the ever since the Bullet days, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like they,
right,
they
right.
never won
They,
anything.
they, they ain't won a championship since '78.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
West
So that's like out
Unseld.
there with the Knicks. Yeah. So it's good to see them at least get some teams that's worth filling up the arena, man. That's all. I'm glad.
Look,
Always glad to see that.
I need to ask y'all a question. I need to ask y'all a
Yeah.
question. Um, do you feel like okay, I'm gonna give you some context. I'm gonna give you some context. There was a time, especially after Dallas lost to Miami in '06, where people were saying that you can't win a championship with Dirk Nowitzki and he's soft and this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
Um, and then they put a team around him that just worked to optimize him and cover up his flaws, right? Like I literally remember Charlotte trading him to Dallas and me sitting there like, damn, like Dallas gonna be tough. Like, you know what I mean? And they had Karan Butler and Jet and like, you know what I mean? Like just that team, it was a funky, weird kind of team, not a traditional kind of team, but it just kind of made sense for what they needed, right? I feel like Trey Young is one of them kind of players. Like, so my question is, I don't feel like it's when you got guys that are that good, I don't necessarily feel like it's all up to the guys to change their game because
Mm-hmm.
they so high level what they do. I feel like it's more like it's up to the organization to figure out how to make it work around them, how to make it
Mm-hmm.
fit around them. There are some players that are all time greats that are more traditional and it's a little easier to kind of, you know what I mean? I give you
Mhm.
another example. I give y'all another example. No, like he was the truth or whatever. That was his nickname and everything. And I'm a huge Paul Pierce fan. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people thought Paul Pierce was a loser until KG and Ray Allen, you know what I mean, got traded there and they drafted Rondo when they won the championship and he was the finals MVP and when all of that happened and I'm a big Ray Allen fan. I was a big KG fan too, but I was telling people like Paul Pierce is gonna be the most important part of that team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like and his whole legacy changed. You know what I mean? Because he finally got those pieces around him. So do y'all feel like it's up to the player to try to kind of adjust their game, or do y'all feel like it's up to the organization? And again, I'm not talking about somebody that made a couple of All Star games. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about these guys that we feel like are like super high level players, high skilled players.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Go ahead,
think.
Mike.
Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead, Mike.
Mike.
I've always said that it's all sports are businesses first and start with the
Mm-hmm.
organization. It
Mm-hmm.
is the organization's job to put
Mm-hmm.
something serviceable on the court, field, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So the player can only do so much. Look at Kevin Garnett towards the end of his time in Minnesota. They put mediocrity around him and
Mm-hmm.
he got lost in the mediocrity. It forced him to be mediocre, right? Because that's what he's around. So when he went to Boston, yeah, he wasn't the same player, but he was still he still had something in him and was able to win. So
Oh
for
wait,
me,
oh wait, that first Boston year, he was still KG. He just wasn't scoring as much because he focused on being defensive player of the year.
Right.
And
well,
next year he tore up his knee, and it wasn't the same after that.
he was like, I'm done.
Mm,
But what I'm saying is that version of KG and
mm,
like MVP '04 KG are two different players still, right? But to me, sometimes that works. But look at what they did with Dallas. Dallas didn't go out and get another all-star player, right? They went out and they got pieces that worked, and the Mavericks won 67 games that season, I believe, and they won a championship. You look at the Detroit Pistons, '04. Let's just, those guys were four all-stars, yes, collectively. Individually, on different teams, probably wouldn't have been the same story. But those four guys, and you could throw Tayshaun Prince, that was a unit. That was a unit that worked well together. Each of them knew their job and knew what to do and how to execute. That's why they won the championship in '04, and they went back to another one, right? And they went
mm.
2 years in a row, right?
They lost in seven and '05 to the Spurs, and respectfully to that '04 team, that team went and Ryan can confirm this. That team went 11 deep.
Mm.
So
Darko was the only non-factor on that team.
so to me, it starts with the organization first and foremost. Personally,
Um, I think it's 50-50. I think the player needs the help of the organization, and the organization needs the hustle and the play of the player. So with Trey Young's situation, I mean, we've had this conversation before, me and Coach Will. Like Atlanta, they ain't do him no favors. You know what I'm saying? They he
At
came in
all.
as a young player, and they yeah, did they take advantage of a somewhat of a weakened by injury East? They did, but he took that team to the Eastern Conference Finals. and they didn't do anything to capitalize on that run at all. So they basically, you know what I'm saying, you put all your stock into thinking that was, I mean, it's mind boggling to me, man. It made me feel like bro, you can't tell me given the proper training we couldn't run a franchise, the four of us in different
Oh
intricals,
yeah.
whether that be coach, GM, what you know what I'm saying, but like the all together, whatever. I feel like we could definitely run a franchise because I'd be wondering what the fuck some of these motherfuckers be doing. Like that's how you know that people really don't be trying to win. They not in the business of winning championships and shit. Like go back to the old school Hawks with Dominique Wilkins and shit.
Hmm.
How good some of those squads were, and if they just made certain pivotal moves, it might have could have put them over the bad boys. Might have could have put them over the Bulls. And you know what I'm saying? And to get back to Trey Young, like they, they didn't make any moves that said, "Oh, we about to build around this young man and we about to go try to win now." And that's the type of attitude I feel like you got to have when you know how to run that he came in with, and they didn't do it. And on his end, he can't help that he's 6 feet. But what he can help is putting in better effort on the defensive end, being undersized like Steph did. Because people used to pick on Steph. They used to say that Steph was a lackluster defender earlier in his days, but he put the work in. And you know, is he a great defender or all time defender? No, but he got himself to a level to where you know they can no longer pick on him or where they had to shadow him. You know what I'm saying on the defensive side. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say I think it's 50-50. It
Let
go
me a- let
hand
me
in hand.
let me ask you a question real quick, Ryan, before you jump in, Raj.
Hmm.
And part of the reason that I find this a curious question, particularly with Trey, because you know he got all of the Steph comparisons, right?
Hmm.
But Trey
Yeah,
is not the off ball guy that Steph is, right?
Steph
So when
is. Right.
so when I was asking the question about, you know what I mean, the player kind of adjusting their game versus, you know what I mean, the organization itself, I respect your answer as it being 50-50, and I understand why it's questionable with Trey. But most of the kind of people I'm talking about, like you, it was never KG was the problem. You know what I mean? It was never LeBron was the problem in
Yeah.
Cleveland. It was like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I don't think Paul Pierce was ever the problem in Boston. You know what I mean? It's certain players,
Yeah.
I don't feel like they were the problem. The organization just wasn't, you know what I mean, putting the proper pieces
Yeah. Just
around them.
putting in
Shit,
proper pieces. Yeah.
Rick Pitino ended up trading Chauncey. Chauncey was the third pick, right? And you know, we all know it took some time, and a lot of that was injuries. But once Chauncey really got an opportunity in Minnesota, you know what I mean, he balled. Like it's a lot of players that get drafted high and don't get, and that's why I was saying too about, you know what I mean, how every situation is kind of different. Like it's, I feel like it's very very few players who, no matter what team they get drafted to, they just gonna be, you know what I mean, that person, or at least close to the best possible version, you know what I mean, of themselves. Most players, you know what I mean, they need, you know what I mean, some kind of organization to kind of, and coaching to get them to where they need to be. It's a small percentage. You know what I mean? LeBron was gonna be LeBron no matter what. Shaq was gonna be Shaq no matter what. I think KG was gonna be KG no matter what. But that's a,
Hmm.
you know, it's a small percentage. That's a, you know, that might be the smallest room in the Hall of Fame. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How we be talking about how it's different levels and different rooms. That might be the smallest room in the Hall of Fame. But guys, Kobe was gonna be Kobe. You know what I mean? Even if he'd have had to go to Charlotte, he was gonna be Kobe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was ever gonna stop him from being Kobe. You feel me? It's a small percentage of those players.
Yeah.
And like I say, it'd be curious to look at different players and kind of, you know, figure out how you think it will work. I feel like Trey, I feel like that's why I liked your answer about 50-50 with Trey. I feel like it's 50-50. Like he could have done some things to kind of, you know what I'm saying, um, accommodate the team around him too. But Atlanta definitely didn't do him no favors.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah.
And you know what? And kind of piggybacking off of what both you guys saying, and I definitely lean towards what R&B was saying with the 50-50, because this is and sidebar. I love doing GM stuff on like 2K and some like computer simulation stuff. Like that's all I do.
bro.
Even at work. You know what I'm saying? Even at work, I got
Bro,
like
yeah.
I'm at work and I'm doing that joint. Like I'm looking at the because they got like a couple of simulation computer basketball simulation games. But I say that because I know I can win a championship if I was a GM. You know what I'm saying? And I believe all three of us could potentially win at least one championship if we were GMs in our lifetime. But going with that being said, if I was the organization in Atlanta, right, and I knew I had a point guard that's like 6 feet tall, really can't guard, but he can hit threes and he can get assists. The first thing I'm doing is putting him next to somebody that is a perimeter defender, somebody that can lock
Mhm.
down whoever is a shooter, so they can limit the points that's being scored on the other side of the ball. The second thing I would do is find a wing that can shoot because Trey's going to get that assist. So if Trey is getting somebody that's like a wing shooter, and they pretty much almost did. That's the reason why they made that run to the Eastern Conference Finals because they almost had that formula, but they just missed a couple of pieces. They had Kevin Herter. They had who was their guard? Hunter. They had Clint Capella, a big that can
Mm.
catch lobs.
Capella was on that squad.
You know what I'm saying? So
John
they had
Collins was on that squad.
John
yeah,
Was
Collins,
that his
yep.
rookie
John
year?
Collins. Yeah.
Mm.
So they had some
And
special.
he's another one that could have adjusted his role too. That was
Yes.
another thing, the clash
Yeah.
between him and Trey. Because if he
Right.
would have tried to take on more of that Draymond type role,
Yeah.
Yep.
then maybe you get a Trey that can focus on playing that off the ball role. You know what I'm saying? A little bit there, but and he would have been, a 10 times better Draymond because I think his ceiling is higher than Draymond's ever
Oh yeah.
was. But
He's a bigger power forward and he's stronger. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So yeah, and he can hit threes consistent. Not saying
And,
Draymond
and, su-
can't.
and super
Draymond developed that.
athletic.
Yeah, and he's
he's
super
super
athletic.
athletic.
You 1,000%
Uh,
right. Well, so with that being said, they just missed like one or two pieces. The, I'm pointing this out because if you know that, then I would have brought in a veteran that can teach him off ball movement. Just strictly that. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm.
bring in Rondo, bring in somebody like I don't know. I would say Chris Paul, but Chris Paul don't really move like that. But bring in a
Ray Allen, Rip,
yeah, Ray
Reggie.
Allen. There you go.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah,
Mark
somebody that
Price,
can teach.
somebody.
You know what I'm saying? Bring somebody in that can coach him, and that goes back to the organization and the front office. Bring somebody that can teach him these things because he's not going to be able to do the things he's doing his whole entire career. I think, and I'm going to stand on this. I think the NBA gave up on those smaller guards. I think the
Mm,
NBA looked
mm,
at Wemby as a flavor of the month, like they did with Steph Curry with the big people. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry was a flavor of the month back in the early 2010s. And then they said, okay, grab somebody like Steph Curry. So then now it's Wemby's turn in the 2020s. And now everyone's like, okay, go find a Wemby. So now you got these 7 footers that can hit threes. So you don't need those small guards anymore, according to these organizations. I think they're doing the NBA a disservice because now you're looking at power forwards and centers that can potentially hit threes and spread the floor, but they're always injured. Wimby's been injured most of the season. He's like in and out of lineup. So it just goes to show you, like the organization's got to
I,
do better, and they got to find a
I,
way to
I,
support their stars.
yes, bro, they do, and I
mm.
say this all the time. Y'all done heard me say this, and Will done heard me say this for sure.
Yeah,
People with that style of body are not meant to move like that. You're
exactly,
not.
exactly. It's
You're
not. It's
not.
not long lasting at all. It's not.
Chris Brown can move like he moved because his body is made to move like he moved.
Yep.
Wembanyama can't do that.
Nope. But he
You know what
tried.
I'm saying? Like
That's
it's
why he's
it's
so
not
terrific.
the you got these big men, man. They nimble. They you know what I'm saying, you already damn near got bad knees when you a certain height or a
Mm-hmm.
bad back or something, and they going down to these lanes during Euro steps and stuff. Like when you 7 foot, damn near 300 pounds. Can you imagine the impact when you going down the lane trying to Euro step and you turn on your ankle the wrong way?
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, they not meant to move that way. It's crazy, but I say this all the time. I feel like big man got injured less when they played a more physical game.
Yeah,
I
because
feel
they
like
have
they got
room.
injured less playing a physical game. Now
Cause,
that they
'cause,
try to play finesse, these dudes be hurt like a motherfucker.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, shit. Think about it though. Even the wings and the guards are, you know what I mean, having more like soft tissue injuries and shit because of like the game done changed. Back then, it was like broken
Yeah,
bones and sprained ankles and you know what I mean. Like nah, it's like you know what I mean, strained calves and a lot of Achilles tears because the
ACLs.
nature of the game doesn't change. I mean, like you say, everybody trying to Euro. You know what I mean? Everybody trying to jelly. Everybody like you know what I mean. All of that, like you know what I'm saying. All of that is changing the nature of the game, and we see the injuries that we see more often now are totally different than what we saw in you know what I mean 90s, 80s, 70s or whatever. To your point, when it was big men playing back to the basket, but you know what I mean niggas wasn't out there trying to dribble the air off the ball either. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
right.
But sidebar, fellas, there was a fight that broke out at the Hornets and Pistons game. I guess Bad Boys Pistons are back. I love it. I love it, man. I love physical basketball. I love it.
Only
They
that
they
would have
got.
made it funnier if it was the Pacers.
I know, right? Nah, the Pacers all injured. So, but I know the Bad Boy reference. You know the Malice in the Palace. But that shit's hilarious. Four people got eliminated. I mean, got damn.
Ejected.
They really
Got
took
a
it.
Ejected.
jacket. Hey,
So
just so we clear, the Palace of Auburn Hills was in Auburn Hills, not in Detroit. That was some Auburn Hills shit. That wasn't us.
Oh,
Oh, about an
I'm,
hour
I'm.
away.
I was gonna say I'm not. I haven't been out there yet. How far is that from there? You said an hour?
Yeah,
About an hour.
about an
Maybe
hour
about 45 minutes,
in
50.
in good traffic, 45 minutes.
In
Yeah,
Detroit.
about
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
look.
That's
There's
hilarious.
The,
Detroit,
the
and then
Palace.
there's the Metro Detroit area. You know what I'm saying? It's not all the
Oh,
same.
Yeah.
oh.
The
yeah, it's
Palace is
kind
close. It's just the hill now.
so it
Shit like
sounds like us how we got New York City and then upstate New York. They're
Yep.
not
yeah,
the same.
and Jersey. 'Cause-
Jersey,
Yeah, we say
Connecticut,
tri-state. Yep.
yep,
Yep. Tri-state.
yep.
no PA. So I guess I need to talk about that. But I just want to try and make this a little shorter than the AD trade because we got to get to the All Star weekend. Another trade that happened was James Harden is on the move again.
Mm,
Again, James Harden has been traded from the Clippers to the Cavaliers for Darius Garland and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I read a second round pick. If I'm not
mhm.
mistaken, I
think so.
just I
Yeah.
just don't I just don't know anymore. Like I don't know. I feel like this trade should be meaningful, but to me, I don't think it really does anything for either team. Um, that's just my opinion. Like I said, I was gonna be short. Someone enlighten me because I just don't see how this helps either team. I feel like it's just did nothing for either side, personally. I mean, the Clippers are where they are, right? And what Cleveland's what, fifth place, if I'm not mistaken?
Fourth place.
They're in fourth place.
Yeah.
So because we know what James Harden does when it comes to the playoffs, we know where he goes. We know that when James Harden gets to the playoff basketball, he's like just gone. He's like disappearing acts. Like, and the Clippers are they're just a mess. So who, in y'all opinion, won this trade?
I think both of the teams. Because here's the thing:
Hmm.
Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell don't match.
Right.
They don't match. I think Darius Garland is a decent point guard. I think that he can potentially even make the All Star team again. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't match well with someone like uh, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is the type of guard that he of course needs the ball in his hand, and he also needs to score at volume. And if he's off the floor, Darius Garland's not going to give him all the points. And on top of that, Darius Garland's always injured. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. He's always hurt. He started into that AD realm. But with that being said, I think the Clippers also need a guard to work with Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi is like I don't know who the hell worked on his knees, but that dude looked like a brand new person. He looks incredible. So I think they're pushing for the playoffs. I think they're trying to push to get back into that top three, top four spot, top four, top three spot. But as far as the Cavaliers, even though we know James Harden disappears, we'll take the disappearing act as long as they can get to the second round. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how that goes, depending on how the matchup goes, you can disappear, but just get us to the second round. Because if they don't, the truth is Donovan Mitchell's out of there. He's gone. He's not coming back. There's no hope. That'll be it. I think James Harden is the best scammer in NBA history, and I love it because Kobe told us you can't win with that type of play. You cannot win championships playing like James Harden plays. But yet and still, James Harden goes from franchise to franchise, and he grab up these 30, 40, $50 million bags, and I love it because if I
There's
was
o-
an NBA, huh?
I just one pushback. There's only one scammer better than him, Ben
Oh,
Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Yes, you're right. Ben Simmons. But see, the difference is between Ben Simmons and James Harden. Ben Simmons should have stayed in the game long enough. He should have stayed in there a little bit longer. Because if I was a basketball player, I would do exactly what James Harden did. I'll be just good enough to get a 40, $50 million check and get up out of there and go to another team. I'll do the exact same thing. So that's my take.
Man, Simmons wasn't good
Man,
enough to do that.
yeah.
If he was, he'd still be getting them checks, bro. I promise you. He tried it
uh,
though.
James, James Harden, man. The one thing I'll say is that when Kobe said that about him, it was in reference to the Houston Rockets, James Harden under the D'Antoni system
System,
when
yeah.
they were running him strictly at the point guard. Um, I I agree with you. I think both teams won this trade, and it was simply because I think Donovan Mitchell needs somebody with him that's more consistent than Darius Garland. I feel like Darius Garland had grown to be very inconsistent in Cleveland, and I felt like it was just time for him to just get a breath of fresh air and to restart somewhere else. So, where else better to, with Tyloo, the Clippers, you got Kawhi playing the way he playing, you know what I'm saying? Try to get a reset, get that fresh start, and go over there and play some point guard next to Kawhi. Uh, so I think it's a win-win for both squads because, like I say, you giving Donovan Mitchell that consistent offensive piece to be next to him. The one thing I will say to push back on for you, Raj, though, is how could you feel that Donovan Mitchell and Garland weren't a fit because you said that Donovan Mitchell needs the ball in his hands, but on the other hand, you think that him and James Harden are a better fit when both of them are high level ball dominant players as well. Like just trying to
yeah, no, I get it. And you know what? And it even sounds weird because, yeah, they're both
because I
bosses.
think Garland passed first.
Yeah, he's a pass first, but you also need that score. James Harden could put up a 50 ball. I think that's what Donovan Mitchell's missing. I think he's missing that second score. Um, Even though I think Donovan Mitchell would get the ball more if he was with Garland, but I still believe like you still need that extra score because they don't have a score outside of Donovan Mitchell on that team.
Mm.
They got scorers on that team. They
No, they do.
just it's fucking I don't understand what's going on. That's why I think Kenny Atkinson ass need to be sitting next to Kerr again next year, or whoever they decide to bring in if they let go of Kerr as the assistant coach again. Because if you ask me, he ain't did shit different than what JB Bickerstaff did,
Nah, definitely not. I
and
think
they didn't give
yeah.
JB Bickerstaff the time that he deserved to continue on with the job. But like the Evan Mobley is a scorer. He's much more than a scorer, don't get me wrong, but Evan Mobley can score. DeAndre Hunter, they made that trade to bring him in from Atlanta because he can score. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know Donovan Mitchell can score. Jared Allen is known for, well, when he was playing at his best, he was known for being a solid rim defender, rebounder, and he could get you a couple buckets. He then became a shell of himself. All of these scorers are not scoring. To me, I think that's a coach issue.
Hmm, that's fair.
Darius Garland wasn't scoring. Only person scoring is Donovan Mitchell. It's looking real similar to the Utah days, man. A lot
Yeah,
of
same.
scoring and a lot of empty
Well,
calories behind it.
This is pretty much the same team.
in fairness to Darius Garland, though, like you say, he's a pass first point guard. It's not like he can't score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, so you talk about him, Donovan Mitchell, Allen, Mobley. At the time, the year that they had the best record in the league, like Karis LeVert was on that team. I think, like they, you know what I
Hmm.
mean. So he wasn't necessarily trying to go out there and get you 30. I'll say this: I feel, I feel like it's like 51-49. I don't really feel like anybody lost. I feel like the Clippers won just slightly. Um, it's crazy because me and Ryan was just talking about this earlier, but I'm gonna add a little bit to what I was saying, Ryan, because I hadn't even thought about this part yet. My concern with James Harden going to Cleveland is the fit with him and Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? But I also feel like outside of Donovan Mitchell, I feel like James Harden is a really good fit with the rest of that roster, and he's
Hmm.
gonna be able to, like I had mentioned, like I feel like he's gonna be good for Jared Allen and Mobley. But the more I think about it, like up and down the roster, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he's going to be a good fit for everybody else. And maybe that allowed Donovan Mitchell to not have to pass the ball and just go get buckets.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And give maybe some more energy on defense or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Um, but I don't know if that's going to get them a championship. And that don't necessarily have to be the end all be all of this trade. But as far as the Clippers, if Garland can get right because of the situation they was in, um, this one I ain't mad at James Harden because he was basically like, hey, so I've been All NBA last couple years, All Star. What's up with this extension? And they was like, no, we ain't really trying to do that, nigga. You like 36 years old. And he was like, all right, so what y'all about to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? What y'all about to get into? And like both of them was on the same page. Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't want to pay him. Okay, cool. So like, what y'all about to get into? All right, well, you know what? We gonna go because the fact of the matter is we still paying out on the motherfucking Paul George and Kawhi. You know what I mean? Debacle. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And Shea just won a fucking championship last year, and we still paying out. You know what I mean? And we need to get some young blood in here. So the only thing we probably can do is try to which and I don't know if this was me and you talking about this a couple months back, Ryan, or me and somebody else, but I was telling them like, man, and this was before they went on their run. You know what I mean? But I was telling somebody like the Clippers gonna end up trading people off. They don't have
Yeah,
no
that's
choice.
what they do.
Like
That's how
they
they
have
do it.
no choice. If you're not gonna win a championship, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna make no sense to keep run to try to run it back with these guys. Go ahead and trade James Harden. I didn't think they was gonna trade what was Zubac. You know what I'm
Yeah, that
saying?
was a bad
Me
trade.
either.
That
I
was
didn't
a
think that
bad trade.
he relatively young, so I figured they'd have held on to him. You know what I'm saying? But he probably had the most value. You know what I'm saying? But so like I
Hey,
feel
I
like the
forgot
Clippers.
Zubac. That's your boy, Rod.
Oh yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Yep. But
So
yeah, but
I feel like the Clippers did a pretty good job of trying to get a jump start on a reset. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about with Washington, Garland might not play the rest of the year. They probably just gonna tell him, go ahead, get your toe healthy. You know what I'm saying, and come back ready. You know what I mean in the fall or whatever. Um, but I feel like they kind of got ahead of trying to, you know what I mean, hit reset on their situation and start rebuilding and moving forward, and not
And
finding
they got
themselves.
ready
You know what
young.
I mean? Not waiting until it's too late. You know.
Mm.
exactly. And one last thing to that, I also feel like the Clippers. You know what? I thought even when you were just mentioning it, right? You know how many chances they had to build young and they never did
Mhm.
it. They had Shea Gilders Alexander on the
Hey,
team. Like you
you,
trade
you,
away that is like the biggest fumble.
you know Doc told Kawhi like, hey, look, I know you want Paul George, but like this dude is gonna be special. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just give him a chance. And Kawhi was stuck on Paul George, and they listened to Kawhi. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And now they traded away Zubac, and I'm like laughing because I'm like, yo, this dude is literally a 20 and 10 guy, a big that can get you buckets at any given moment. And like you said, he's relatively young for a center, so you can build around him or build at least with him. You know what I'm saying? But they keep doing that. They keep treat. I feel like they're the G League for the Los Angeles Lakers. Keep it a stat. I feel like they're a farm system team because they keep moving these players that are young
They
and
trade
young.
Zubac.
Huh?
Where did they trade Zubac?
Indiana,
Indiana.
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Indiana gonna come back nice next year,
Oh, they
man.
go, yeah, if they can stay, if they get rid of their
Indiana's
strength
gonna come back
conditioning
nice
coach,
next year,
if
and
they
they
get
probably about to have a top three pick.
yeah, yeah, that's gonna be sick. But what's the name? If they get rid of their strength and conditioning coach, they'll be the best team in the East next year. Because I don't know how you heard of what's the name? The other forward got hurt. Murphy. He just tore his ACL.
Crazy.
We'll see how that happens.
All these calf
So,
strains and ACL tears, man. It's crazy, right?
Soft tissue injury. Big soft tissue injury.
so the next segment, I'm going to lead with a question, and it's going to be an awkward question. What is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Hell yeah.
Kind of like being a Lion fan.
Or
So
Jet.
this weekend, we're all going to be insane because I watch NBA Saturday in hopes that the dunk contest will be entertaining, and it's not. I do it, and then I say I'm not going to do it. I'm not, and then I end up doing it and hurting my own feelings, being more mad at myself that I gave the NBA the benefit of the doubt that you were going to put something up there that was worth my eyes' attention, and then you don't. I'm just like, you got Dame Lillard competing in the 3-point contest, and he's hurt, so they say. You got four guys dunking. I don't even know who three of them are. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So do you guys think that NBA Saturday, All Star Saturday, do you believe that there's a chance, even if it's a slim one, that the dunk contest will be entertaining? And what is your favorite event for Saturday?
Oh man, my favorite event is a 3-point contest and the skills contest is a solid number two. Um, the dunk contest is a joke, and you know what? I blame LeBron. Yeah, I blame LeBron in this one because you know what? Damn it, he's the reason why none of these superstars do not want to compete in a dunk contest. I mean, if you think about it, the last time we had an All Star competing in a
Okay.
dunk contest, I believe was with what Blake Griffin, if my memory serves me correct.
Mhm.
But the dunk contest is ass. I don't recognize none of these guys. they might as well go ahead and call up the G Leaguers and get them an opportunity to make 100 G. Because at this point,
Or the
we're gonna
YouTubers.
see, yeah, or get YouTubers. I'll take that. I'll take that. There's some dope YouTubers that can dunk. So yo, we need to stop allowing these superstars to back up out of this. Like John Moran ain't doing nothing. Why the hell is he sitting on his couch on All Star Weekend? He's not an All Star, and guess what? He haven't played most of these games, so he can go out there in a dunk contest. Zion Williamson, this dude lost weight to do what? Nothing. He's going after these BBL models. So it's like, yo, we need to go ahead and fire all these agents, or at least go online and protest for all these agents to push their athletes to go out there and push their athletes to perform in the dunk contest, because I can't take this anymore. This is getting trash.
He said, "What he lost weight to do what?
Go
Nothing."
ahead, go ahead, Ryan. I'm gonna go last. You know, we was just talking about this last night, so you already know where I'm going.
Yeah. Shit for me, man. Personally, I ain't really looking forward to it, but I'm gonna watch just to see, just to see what's gonna, come of it. See if somebody excite me. I am excited to try to see what Dame Lillard gonna do in the 3-point shootout because he's gonna be in that. So I want to see if he how he looking. Coming back off trying to come back from that injury that his torn Achilles and shit next year. So other than that, man, that's just kind of it is what it is, man. We gonna see.
I am most looking forward to the 3-point shootout at this point in my life. Um, but it would not surprise me if the dunk contest, like people have been swearing that the dunk contest is dead for 20 some odd years now. Um, let me was and I know again I know I'm the old man, but I'm gonna go back a little bit, but I'm gonna bring it back up. You know what I mean? Current too. But was Spud Webb ever? Did he ever make an All Star game?
I look. I'm not sure.
No, he didn't. I mean, it was a rhetorical question, but
Oh, okay,
no, he
okay,
did.
yeah.
Jason Richardson ever make All Star game?
No,
No. Zach Levine,
Nope.
A- Aaron Gordon, Nate
Nope.
Robinson. But all of these guys got some of the most iconic moments ever in the dunk contest. I don't think it would it help to have like the all stars and the superstars in the dunk contest? Like yeah, but when you know what I mean, good NBA players do crazy shit. You know what I mean in the dunk contest, people respect it. It's not like they sit there and say, "Oh, I ain't gonna give him a 50 because he ain't never made the All Star team or he ain't never been All NBA." I think the problem with the dunk contest at this point is that the the expectations are so high that the degree of difficulty to actually impress us in 2026 is so astronomically high that you know what I mean. You really got to be out there doing some wild, crazy shit, and not just once. You got to do, you know what I mean, four dunks that basically we ain't ever seen before for the most part, which is
right,
very, very hard to do at this point.
Right.
Um, Now again, nobody really gives a fuck that Matt McClung done won three dunk contests in a row either. So again, like I understand that we at least want to like know who these players are. So even when I say like a Zach Levine or Aaron Gordon ain't never been to an All Star game, if you're a basketball fan, you know who they are. You know they can ball. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't know who Matt McClung is outside of winning the dunk contest. So I
right.
do understand that, you know what I mean, in regards to just like the average fan and people just kind of being able to gravitate to it that way. But like
Okay.
we done seen a lot of dudes that ain't never made an All Star game go crazy in the dunk contest,
I'm sure good.
or at the very least, you know what I mean. Even if they didn't have a great contest, they done some of the most iconic dunks. You know what I'm saying that we done seen.
Yeah, and at the very least, they notable names though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Outside of like Fred Jones. Ain't right. He got one of the best dunk contest dunks ever, but don't nobody really, again, I know we know who Fred Jones is, but
I'll say you don't think Fred Jones was a notable name for that era of basketball? I wouldn't.
for
I wouldn't say
for
he was
for us,
like the
yeah.
top tier.
No,
But you
for
say
us,
for us,
yeah. Like we basketball fans, the way we basketball fans. Oh, I left out like even Gerald Green. I forgot him too. You know what I'm saying?
Gerald Green, he
Was
he
a, no,
he
he was
he
a
had a
notable
name
player.
because he was the internet sensation.
Yeah,
He was like the beginning of the internet, one of the beginning of the internet era. He had one
but
of them big high school followings and shit,
yeah,
so he already had a name.
yeah. But once he got to the league, he was known more for his dunks than for his game. Until he,
Yeah,
you
for
know what I
sure,
mean. It,
for
it
sure.
took him a few years to kind of round into a like a rotational player and being a solid.
Rotation,
And
yeah.
then he got to Houston and he was balling. You know what I'm saying? But I just I just said his name because that was somebody that I left out that wasn't necessarily like an all star, but like you know what I'm saying, turned up in the motherfucking all star. I mean, in the dunk contest.
Yeah, I mean, I see it from that point of view. But like you guys said, the key word in there is notable name. And a lot of these guys just don't want to compete in this contest. That is their prerogative. But the NBA has since Adam Silver's come in, he's always tried to make things better. Like he thought the in season tournament was a good thing. That ended up being a success. I wasn't a fan of it. And even now, like it's grown, but just damn, them courts, man, those playing or those courts they play on is the only thing that really hurts my eyes. The playing tournament. You know, I thought it was a
You
bad
don't like to
idea.
play in?
To me, I believe we've gotten a lot of pure basketball will out of it, but to me, I feel like, it's always been 1 through 8. If you ain't good enough or you didn't play well enough, that's on you. Like it's like a consolation. Yeah, I feel like
No,
we're
no, no,
bringing.
no, no. It wasn't always 1 through 8. It wasn't always 1 through 8.
Well, okay, let me rephrase. In my time, in my time, it's been 1 through 8. It's been 1 through 8. So, to me, like that's how I see things. And instead of bringing in 10 teams and then one's got to win twice, it's just, we got a lot of good stuff out of it, but it's just, I just like to get straight to it. 1 through 8, let's do it. You know what I mean?
You
So
don't
there's,
like the fact you don't like that it's kind of keeping those middle of the pack teams a little more competitive and not tanking as much. I know this year, like everybody gonna be tanking because this is like the best draft since '03 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is an
uh,
outlier. But
I do like competitive games, as I've said before, in all sports. I do like competitive games, but I just also feel it's one of those bittersweets because I do like the competitive nature, but in the same
okay,
breath, it's like you're bringing in teams that essentially weren't good enough. Like I said, 1 through 8 is what I've seen since I've watched basketball, primarily. You know, so it's just something like that. And he's tried, but it's worked out. It's worked out in that regard. So um, you know, we'll see what happens with that. So you wanna let's do these halftime list. I don't know where Raj
Is
went.
Rod's coming back in, or
I don't know. I'm using my phone, so if I close it, it might kill the feed. I don't know what he's doing. His phone might have died. Usually that happens to him. So all right. Well, I'll start off with my number 10 for the halftime. Um, is Bruno Mars 2014.
wow, wow,
my number 10 is Janet and Justin. It's at 10 because I missed. I think I told y'all this yesterday. I missed the nip clip. I didn't even get to see the motherfucker. So it's more for like historical value. Like I understand how important it is to the culture. You know what I'm saying? But it's at 10 for me because I didn't actually get to see the titty in real time.
My number 10 is Justin Timberlake, 2018. Solo Justin Timberlake. It was a good show. Put
With the
on a
country
good vocal
band.
performance. Uh,
So he had the country band or something with him, didn't he?
yeah. Then he brought out he brought the NSYNC out. They did a little little something something in there. It was smooth show. It was pretty smooth. JT is a good performer. Pretty fly for a white guy. So,
Yeah, that he's actually my number nine, JT. He I always tell people he was born in the wrong skin. He should he should have been one of us, damn it.
Let me say this real quick before I give y'all my number 9. And this was kind of my point. This is what made me think about the Bad Bunny shit different. When I really went back and looked at every single Super Bowl halftime performance, like 80% of them are some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't have no interest in seeing. Having said that, my number 9, and I ain't even the biggest fan of her music like that. I don't dislike her, but she's like a pretty good performer. The Beyonce solo joint.
Okay, okay. Beyonce. Yeah. That was a good performance too. That was a
They
good performance too.
they was hating on her.
They
so
Say she
always
was say she was doing too much pee popping, and then Lady Gaga came out the next year butt ass naked, basically.
man. We
so
bad.
my number 9, I went on and went with Riri. Um, it was a good performance, although she was pregnant at the time. You know what I'm saying? What? What?
I, I, I love me some Rihanna. Not even like her music, just like I love me some Rihanna. That was the funniest shit in the world to me. That's all. I ain't hating on your choice. It was
Oh,
just when you start talking about it, I'm thinking about her pregnant as hell on the stage. I ain't shitting on your choice. It ain't that.
yeah, that's what rank is so low because even though the vocals were there, the dance wasn't there the way she wanted it to
Yeah.
be because she was pregnant at the time, but she still delivered a very very good performance and definitely gave us some hits and had everybody on Twitter talking about why she need to drop another album and shit. So number 9, Rihanna.
Okay, okay. Number eight is for me. Um, was Janet and Justin. Uh, definitely, definitely was interesting, but definitely the titty scene around the world.
Hey, like I say,
Yeah.
I saw that motherfucker in HD. First time I ever seen the HD TV.
Oh
When
man,
they rewinded it, it's like, wait a minute, I can. Damn, that's crazy.
oh man, hell yeah.
My number 8 is and I ain't even the biggest fan of her music like that. She definitely got a bunch of songs I like, but like I fuck with her like as an artist and as a performer. Missy, I got Missy at number 8.
Okay, okay, okay. So now we're. Did you give your number eight R&B?
No, my number 8 is in line with yours. I got Justin and Janet. That was a good performance and in more ways than one. And I think we all know why.
Number seven, I got Beyonce shutting the lights down on us. She got up there and killed it. Uh, I don't care. No one say I don't even like Beyonce like that. She went out there, and that woman is a performer. When you talk about performing, that woman is a performer. So yeah, number seven is Beyonce.
Number seven for me, I went with Kendrick Lamar last year's performance. It was dope for the culture. Second, now the second most highest watched Super Bowl halftime performance, and it was funny when they said, "Do you think he gonna do it?" And he did. So hey,
Oh man.
number seven is Kendrick.
Number seven for me is Maroon Five, Big Boy, and Travis Scott. Uh, I ain't gonna say I'm not a Travis Scott fan. I ain't really listened to his only song I know like that is Sicko Mode, which is cool. I ain't gonna act like I know his catalog like that. So I ain't gonna say I don't like him. But I'm a big Maroon Five fan, and Outkast is my favorite rap group of all time. Big Boy is one of my favorite rappers of all time. So it was super fucking dope to get to see him because that was in Atlanta, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was dope to see my guy. You know what I mean? Have his moment in Atlanta. It's more about Big Boy than anybody else for me.
Right, aside from not him not having Andre there.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not we we're on now. Number six.
Yep.
Number six. Number six, I got Kendrick Lamar. Just with the more or less of the meaning behind the performance was what did it for me.
I didn't think he was gonna make your list, Mike.
Uh, just as a sidebar, I don't dislike Kendrick Lamar's music. See, people think that I dislike his music. I just dislike the fact that when he drops something, the whole world has to stop and act like he's God's gift to hip hop. He's not. That's my issue. It's not about he's a phenomenal artist. I do enjoy his music. But when he drops, the world stops and acts like he's God's gift to hip hop. You're not. No one
So
is.
who do you consider God's gift to hip hop?
I don't think
If you had to put one of them, somebody on, if you just had to name somebody of modern stature that's on that level with a Kendrick and shit that you would put as God's gift to hip hop over him, who would it be?
you're talking like currently or just overall.
Current.
If I had to say currently, see, it's hard because the person I'm going to say isn't current. They're an old school rapper, but they're still making music currently. It'd be Nas. But
Hmm.
if you're talking about someone in coming up now, to be honest, I don't think there is one.
Mm. um, just two quick points on that, and I'm gonna keep it moving because I know Ryan. You know what I mean? Got something to
Yeah,
get to. At this point, it's so hard to get the world to stop for you. If he pulled it off, I got all the respect in the world for that. You know what I'm saying? And also, it wasn't like one thing. It was the build up to Not Like Us. Like Not Like Us wasn't the first song. It was, you know what I mean, a whole back and forth in multiple songs. And then Not Like Us. So it was a whole it was like a boxing match. You know what I'm saying? They was going rounds. And then he knocked his ass out. You know what I mean? So I so like it was a build up to that point. It wasn't like he just dropped and you know what I mean, like everything stopped. That's
well,
not that's not exactly how it happened.
but even prior to that song, out after, I would say after the first album, it was the second album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's happened a lot. That was the plateau of it, like the peak of it. Like to me, that peak to me is on the same level as the Carter Three's peak. The Carter Three was not Lil Wayne's best album, but that
No,
was the peak.
but that was yeah. But also
And I
too,
think Not
but,
Like Us is the
wait,
peak.
but also too, part of the reason that Carter 3 went crazy it did, not just because people love that album the way they did, and I'm with you. Like Carter 4 was everything I wanted Carter 3 to be. I love Carter 3, but whatever, whole other conversation. But we waited 3 4 years for Carter 3. Wayne was on a crazy ass mixtape run, and we were waiting for that album forever. And to equate that to Kendrick, Kendrick don't drop an album every year or every 2 years. So when he does, it's like an event. You know what I'm saying? He not dropping all the time. Just like Cole. Cole just dropped a few days ago, right? Cole don't
Yeah.
drop an album every year or every 2 years. So when he does, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Drake, and I'm a huge Drake fan. That nigga was dropping. He got to the point where he was dropping 2 albums a year. So it's not as big a deal. You know what I mean? So it's like the No Limit thing. You know what I mean? You got 4 albums coming every fucking month. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long do you think
Hell
people
yeah.
like? At some point, you water down a product. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick is like an event when he drops. So I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's like pandering. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, this nigga finally dropped an album. Let's listen to it because it's been 18 years. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Oh man, what we on now? Number
What?
five?
Do.
I didn't get
Oh
my
no, we did
six.
six. We
Okay.
on six. We on six.
So for number six, I have Uncle Ursher himself, Mr. USHEI. Great performance, a lot of dedications deep down within that performance that I don't think a lot of people really drew out of it. But if you're an R&B guy like me and a music fan like I am, then you'll get the homage and the messages that were sent in that performance. It was a great one. And hey man, that's Uncle Usher, number six.
He's my number five. Usher.
My six was I don't think I did. I say my six. I don't even remember if I did. I don't think so.
Under the Rule 5.
No, my six was Bruno, Beyonce, and Coldplay.
Okay.
Um, Again, not the biggest fan of any of their music. They all got songs I like, but all dope performers though. It was a dope performance, and Bruno and Beyonce was going crazy.
I'm probably about to make y'all mad.
And then my five is Usher, Alicia, JD, her, Lil Jon, Luda. That's my number five.
Okay. What about you, R&B?
My number 5 is Michael Jackson.
You just waiting on a reaction, ain't you?
Yo,
No,
the
no.
whole the whole the whole show went silent.
Hey,
Like
he know he had that look on his face. He did the whole lean back and shit. Like, I wish a motherfucker would say so. Waiting on somebody to say so.
I was.
I know he
R&B. That I'm sorry, bro, but we're gonna call you Raj and B right now, okay? Raj and B.
It
That
sound
was
better on
such
me.
a Raj move.
It sound better on me because it sound very Dragon Ball Z-ish. Continue. I like it. Roger B. I've
Right.
come to share the true knowledge. Look,
So
Oh
I
man.
think I know who your number one is now that you said that.
Oh my god.
um,
Hmm.
look, MJ. I'm gonna give it to you like this. This is my perspective on it. The reason I put MJ at number 5 and not where most people would have him, it would be either one or top three. It's because I thought that that performance was overrated. But but the reason why I still kept him in the top five is because I understood what that performance was for the culture. And I feel like he revolutionized the halftime performance show with that performance. So because of that in itself, and because of him and who he is, it will remain in my top five. It's the greatest, one of the greatest halftime performances of all time. But the reason that it dropped to number five for me from top three is because this was Michael Jackson. And this is one of the greatest to ever do it. And he went out there and he gave us a Soul Train performance. Yes, he did. He gave us a Soul Train performance, ladies and gentlemen. As somebody that's been a longing vocalist since I was a youth, the cardinal rule when it come to R&B or when it come to singing and performing pop, whatever, when you're singing, you sing. And he sung with a track. He gave us a track performance, and it just kind of watered it down for me. And I remember watching it live as a little kid. I literally remember watching it live as a little kid and thinking to myself like, "Damn, this just wasn't it." I was happy because it was Michael, but at the same time, it's like it just it wasn't what I all the way wanted it to be like that. It wasn't. It just didn't. It wasn't what I all the way what I wanted it to be, and I thought that it could have been better. And I think that if you give Michael Jackson that spotlight somewhere down the line, maybe like around the time that he had did the little CBS special and all that type of shit with more modern technology and stuff like that, that it probably does turn out to be a much better performance. So being the era that it was and when he did it and who he was and what it meant to everything, I keep it in the top five, but that's where it's at for me at five.
Okay, okay. So number four, I got Maroon Five, Travis Scott, and Big Boy. On the contrary, I love Maroon Five. Love them. I just love their music. I could care less for Travis Scott. And Big Boy is very, very underrated. Um, you know, Andre gets a lot of credit for Outkast, but Big Boy's got bars too. But that's number four for me.
I ain't gonna lie. I love songs about Jane. I didn't listen to a whole lot of Maroon Five after that. I still listen to songs about Jane though. To this day.
Um, at number four, I got "Burn It Down" Beyonce,
Okay.
Mrs. B. Rollins herself. Burn it down literally because they burnt it down to the point that the lights went out and it gave the 49ers a second life and it became a competitive game. At number four, Queen B.
Okay.
And number
Okay.
four, I got Kendrick for all the reasons that I already expressed.
Number three, I got Prince. Only man who can sing Purple Rain and then it starts raining. Like that's a Prince thing. like, like that is a Prince thing right there.
Yes, it is.
And he
And
went
number
home and
three,
made
I also
pancakes.
got.
Word.
Anybody want some pancakes? Um, at number three, I also have Prince. Like you just said, for all of the reasons you named, literally Purple Rain.
Absolutely.
At number three, I have Dr. Dre, Snoop, 50, Mary J. Blige. Um, first first Super Bowl halftime show that really felt like my adulthood, not my childhood.
Your number three is my number two. The amount of excitement, like I felt like it was a concert. I felt like football was at a concert. Like even though 50 Cent, when he came from upside down to do In the Club, he looked like he was ready to die. My
You
man
had
was
some
like,
concern for a safety.
go, go, shorty. I'm like, oh my God, dude, don't die. You still need to keep making power. Do not die.
Silly. Well, that's funny because they say great minds think alike. Because his number three is also my number two, Dr. Dre and Friends. Another great performance, and I say the last one of the last memories that I got um to enjoy with my cousin before he passed away. I had a Super Bowl party that year. My cousin then came through, and like that was the performance for that year. We watched it and everything, and then he ended up passing away around the corner from my house at the gas station. So so just that one near and dear. Like that's definitely my number two.
um, I respectfully decline to submit a number two. I have a 1A and a 1B. MJ, Prince. MJ because MJ created the lane. You know what I'm saying? Um, and again, I do agree with Ryan to some degree. Like that, obviously, that's not like the best MJ performance we've ever seen. But I remember watching bum ass halftime shows with like college bands and you know what I mean, whatever in the fuck else was going on at the time. So to
None
see
of them
Michael,
shits make the list.
so to see Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, perform live at the Super Bowl, like that was a whole big ass deal for real. And then again, Prince, like Prince is Prince. You know what I'm saying? Ultimate performer, ultimate musician. Um, like I say, nigga literally brought Purple Rain down into the mother. Like that, that is the
Yo,
craziest shit in the world, right? When niggas be like, "Nah, bro, he be floating," I be believing him. You know what I'm saying? He don't walk. He just float over to you. I believe him. Don't look in his eyes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
he he is some kind of other realmly being. He is not human, bro. so
it's a
so
fact.
that's my 1A and my 1B.
Well, y'all already know. Number one, it's always gonna be Michael Jackson. Like that's just what it is. No explanation needed. Nigga, the only nigga that can just look and turn his head and people pass out. Crazy. Best believe
and
my
then that
ass
was
will
another
be there.
thing. That was another thing that ruined his performance for me. The first 3 to 4 minutes, you only get 15 minutes out there. So the first three or four, he wasted having to stand there and do his whole little take the glasses off and look, which took away from the singing and the performance and the dancing and shit. So yeah, but like I said, this one gonna be this one gonna be. I wish Raj was here. Number one, I got Bruno Mars 2014. That's the best Super Bowl
I'm
performance
I'm
ever
not mad at it.
that I've seen with my own two eyes. Bruno Mars came and tore that bitch the fuck down, which is why he was invited back the next year with Beyonce because of what he did in 2014. Like so, like for me personally, that was definitely the best Super Bowl halftime performance that I've seen with my own two eyes. Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars above Michael
Mm,
Jackson. I don't know how I
I,
feel about this. This is
I,
this
Bruno
was
Bruno came out there
I,
and did his own drumming, then played his own guitar.
yeah.
He did some Prince
Forgot
shit.
all about damn, bro. I forgot all about that. I dropped the ball on that one. Look, again, I'm not the biggest Bruno Mars fans in regards to his music. He got songs I like, but like performance wise, oh, that motherfucker can perform. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like on stage, like he nigga get busy, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't knocking him. My
Mm.
daughter's trying to get to his concert later this year. He's got an album
Me
coming
too.
out at the end of the month, a tour. So she
Yeah,
trying to
I'm mad
go.
it only got 9 songs on it though. I'm like, man, this shit better be legendary. But I do you this one, Mike. I would both of y'all. I would challenge y'all to go on YouTube and watch Michael Jackson's performance, and then watch Bruno's, and then you come back and tell me you definitively still think Michael was better. Not necessarily, even if you want to say maybe I'll put Bruno up there with it. Not saying that you would, but you definitively tell me you think that it was that much better after you go watch both of them, and then let
I
me know what you think.
I have to go rewatch. I watched Michael's again. I have to go rewatch Bruno's again.
I'm gonna have to do the same.
Every,
I,
every one of them that I named, I watched. I
hey,
was like basically just going through.
I need to run these down for you real quick, bro. We ain't gotta, I'm gonna just run them down real quick. My media moments. You know what I'm saying? I definitely wanted because after I thought about it yesterday, I did a little more research, and my list is a little different than I thought it was gonna be yesterday when we was talking about it. Um, at number 10, I got Jim Mora playoffs. At number 9, I got I got Joe Namath trying to kiss Susie Colbert on Monday Night Football. That shit was wild as hell. Um, at number 8, I got Dennis Green. You know what I mean? You go ahead and crown them. They are who we thought they were. At number 7, I got that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
Quarterback, man.
That was an honorable mention there. That was an honorable mention.
At number 6, I got AI practice. Uh, at number 5, I got Mike Tyson. I want to eat your. I want to snatch your heart. I want to eat your children. All praise due to Allah. um, at number 4, I got everybody play hard. Everybody play hard. My boy She. At number 2, I got oh no, I'm sorry. At number 3, I got Beast Mode. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined, no matter what you ask me. At number 2, I got Deion Sanders throwing that bucket of water on Tim McCarver. You know what I'm saying? In the locker room. And at number 1, and I don't know why this shit popped in my head, but it did. Motherfucking Floyd Mayweather and Larry Merchant. When Larry Merchant told him, "If I was 50 years younger, I would beat your ass."
Oh.
That's my 10.
Oh man. Well, another good show. Went a little long, but it's all right. We'll be back next week with another episode post All Star game, and we're gonna start our NBA list. I'll make sure that we talk about it in the chat, but we gonna start with the centers just for Raj, even though he ain't here right now. This is just for him, cause if he puts Shaq anything lower than 3, he's about to be blacklisted. you about to be blacklisted
It better be a damn good
I,
reason.
because you already know he's putting Joker 1. So like,
It better be some. If Shaq is lower than 3, then after I hear Joker, I better hear Kareem, and I better hear Will or Olajuwon.
yeah.
Other than that, he
Outside of
blacklisted.
that, I ain't trying to hear nobody else.
Raj go put Joker 1, Zubak 2.
Rick Smith's
He'll
3.
do it. He'll do it. Greg
Kwame,
Booker tag.
Kwame Brown 4.
Who is this team? What's his basketball team that he rock with?
The Nets.
The
The
net.
Nets. Oh man, he gonna have Jason Williams, shotgun Jason Williams. He gonna have
Shotgun.
shotgun Jason Williams at 3.
Come on, y'all can't tell me he wasn't a good talent, yo.
Hey, look, Zoe was a Hall of Famer. He just had that kidney issue when he got there. He gonna have
Oh my God.
he gonna have New Jersey next Alonzo Mourning.
Oh my God.
Shit.
But
Dikembe
all
was
right.
still solid when he got to the Nets, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Oh man, that's great. That's great. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode. Enjoy All Star Weekend. Don't watch the dunk contest, even though I know I'm going to watch it and be mad that I watched it and then be upset
LeBron
about
doing
it.
it.
Hey,
Breaking
look.
news: LeBron doing the dunk contest. It just hit my IG.
LeBron's doing the dunk contest.
Yeah.
I believe it when I see his ass out there.
Hey, look. Even if he wasn't or he ain't, we still gotta watch it because if some crazy shit happened, we gonna have to talk about it. So,
You're right. You're right. So everyone,
hey, look. Just put it on your. You know what I mean? Just record it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Put it on the DVR. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta watch it in real time.
no, I can't. I can't do that. I'm just gonna do it. Just disappoint myself in real time. Why not? Oh man! But everyone, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another episode. Everyone have a good week. Be safe. Be healthy, and we'll see you on the next go round. Peace.
All right, fellas.